Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Octane Online Racing's Thermaltake WEC Series, Season 6 here at Spa for Round 4, here in the lovely Stavelot of Belgium. My name's Cameron Fisselthwaite. I'm joined by Jaden Rondinella, and here we've got lovely Benjamin Hignett on the cams as well. Jaden, Bandy Aston Martin Rondinella, how are you doing?
Look. Just look. I'm starting to sound like Eminem. We're doing good tonight. Hoping that we see some good, clean racing from LMU. Obviously, a very fun split with the two different classes of car, the Hypers and the LMGT3s. This is definitely a good series to commentate, at least from my end. And I know, Cam, you're wanting to get back into the car, so hopefully we can, wink, wink, find another commentator to come join us on the LMU commentation. But I'm trying to help you out here, Cam.
Sounds like you're trying to get rid of me, actually. Quite frankly.
Doing you a favour.
Nah, that's it. Nah, off the Christmas card list for you, to say the least. Bloody McLaren drivers, typical of them. But maybe we should only have race winners in the box.
That's mean.
That is mean. And I don't feel bad because you got food in your mouth and I don't, and I'm starving. But anyway, we're here at Belgium and we're watching the return of Daniel Benefield to the WEC series. And here, he absolutely decimated the field last season in Season 5. Took out every win in the hypercars, and he's here ready to stake his claim here on Season 6. So the rest of them have got to watch out. We've got the usual contenders like Patrick Johnson and Lucas Keys both piloting the Alpine, and as well as Eman Ryan as well, who's taken a couple of wins this season, piloting the Ferrari now. And of course we've got lovable Nathan Monks in the Porsche, and a few of the regulars all still up there at the front of the field, so it should make for an interesting watch. But we know whoever takes pole generally doesn't really take the win in this series. In GT field, we still got Amrot Naim under the guise of Tok Brummer. I do apologise for keep calling him that, but he's out there in different machinery in the McLaren, as we see here. Thank you very much to Ben. But still, Ashan Lele as well in the Lexus, unfortunately coming off the back of their unfortunate crash last race at Monza, denied their P2, and Shady Samuel as well in the McLaren should be a good one to watch.
Yeah, obviously we've got quite a very, not quite, it's a very strong field out here. Those Hypers, we do know Benefield, well, from what I've heard, Benefield is definitely quicker than Johnston and Lucas Keys. And I think there's going to be some close racing here tonight if Lucas is able to, and same with Patrick, are able to pick up the pace in those hypercars. But yeah, these fields have been very varied throughout the series, with quite a lot of the GT3 winners changing, and the whole top 10 is always having different drivers in it. So it is obviously going to be quite crazy. We know Spa very well, done many endurance races around here in ACC as well as races. I believe this is our first Spa event at Spa in LMU, so it should be interesting enough to see how the drivers get on. Track limits are different, everything. I mean, just look at the track there, you have gravel out there, that's different. So we are prepared for some shenanigans tonight. What kind of car are you thinking to be on the lookout for tonight? What's got the bop in favour of it?
Oh, I have no clue, to be honest. I'm not an expert in LMU anymore, to say the least. I've been kind of just driving the GTs at most. I do not really want such a hypercar, but there is a car to watch, is the one that we're looking at now. Not necessarily because of the car, but because of the driver, Daniel Benefield. Who said he absolutely gassed him up earlier in the stream. But he absolutely decimated last season. Is been absolutely at the forefront of every race that I've ever commentated, and a very, very quick operator, especially in that Ferrari as well. We are seeing the first few times in quali starting to come to the top as well. Patrick Johnson does displace Mr. Benefield at the top on the 202.647 in the Alpine. The Alpine has gotten a little bit of a buff lately, just as their real-life commitments are going to come to a close at the end of the year. But equally so, the Alpines are going to go out with a bit of a bang, and definitely looking strong as well in game. The Toyotas as well. Jack Miller, interesting. I think that's his first foray or first first race in a while on ACC on Le Mans Ultimate. Obviously, we've seen him on ACC for a few seasons now, and a very quick operator as well. A very quick silver-rated driver, almost approaching on pro pace as well. Definitely for out pace, but interesting to see him here in the Toyota. Currently on a 205, so maybe still finding his feet, and maybe a little bit of a recent adoption to the Le Mans Ultimate.
I think I figured out something that I really like about this game, and that's that I get to see Sean Muller kind of almost be back where he would have been a while ago before he stopped his sim racing for a little. So I'm enjoying him being actually like mid-pack, maybe even towards the front of the field sometimes with his pace in this game. And he's obviously in love with the Porsche, still driving it around, and he just looks so much more stable with driving it around here than a few other drivers that you see. A lot of them get a little bit squirrely. He seems to, I don't know, just there's a sense of calm around him that I get from Sean Muller in LMU. So that is a driver that I will be watching tonight to see how well he does in this race.
Definitely seems to enjoy the Porsche a lot more in this game, unlike the aforementioned ACC. I've struggled with Porsches ever so, and doesn't matter what sim, but it's a little bit backwards thinking as we see Shan Lele in his Lexus as well. Looks like maybe he's added a few scars to his livery. I'm not too sure if that's indicative of how he felt like the last race went, but definitely looks like he. Oh no, I think it's actually artistic work. I was wondering if he's hit another kangaroo. That's topical, right? Oh,
yeah, that's very topical at the moment. Another thing to look out for is, will people slow down for yellow flags at this race?
Yes.
Very, very topical there.
Yeah, thank you everyone as well in the chat as well. Avid, Valiant Knights, obviously Mike Cricket having a few issues. Loop-de-loops, no idea who that goes. Fezzer 1187. Loop-de, do you know who that is?
No one really important at all, I'm sure.
Yes. Gotta get a knife in there, you had to say, as per usual. But Shad Lele does cross the line, goes still doing a 2:19.6424. Looks like they didn't improve last lap.
Yeah, another thing to look at, according to a chatter, is that Ben is racing from his hotel room tonight on I'm guessing a controller. So that's going to be very interesting to see how well the controller does. I'm thinking it might be either Ben Vincner or it's going to be.
I don't know if
who's the other Ben? Do we have another Ben?
I can't even see anyone with B. First name boost B, unless Hignet's racing from our man on the cameras is racing from a controller. I'll be quite surprised playing Bellatro on a controller.
Yeah, no, it sounds like something he'd do. But that's going to be interesting to see. If it is Benny V, then that's definitely a hard race, especially in the hypercars. Again, one thing to state for those that don't know, hypercars don't have any ABS at all. And I'm pretty sure the traction controls all right, but they're very difficult. So you've got to be careful on the brakes, or you'll lock up. So. Playing on a controller especially, I feel like unless there's an assist for controller drivers, that is a very, very difficult thing to do. And looking at the timing board for the LMGT3s, Lele's dropped another position as Curry's come in with the 2:19.5, so just a little bit faster than Lele, only about a tenth between them. I'm saying it's a little bit closer than that, but yeah, that looks like Emerald Name in the T Bromo, as his name is in LMU, is going to carry that out by almost a full second ahead of those drivers.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if my information is up to date. I think there has been an allowance. It could be on previous seasons that there was an allowance for ABS to be enabled if you require it, to say the least, which would be quite an advantage, I will say, in the hypercars, because no matter how good you are on the brakes, it's just being able to brake with some conviction that the ABS has got to stop you from locking up is definitely one to watch. But to be fair as well, in this game, the TC and ABS isn't really the nanny state that it is in ACC, I will say. It doesn't completely save you from locking or spinning up the rear. It is not as forgiving as ACC, that's for sure. But, I'm just having
a look at the timing board once again, and it looks like Benefield's lost his position to Rayan, who's done a 2:07, so very, very quick lap there in the hypercar. And it's looking like two Ferraris taking out the top two at the moment for for this race. And I think we have reached almost the end of quali, aren't we? How long's quali? Is it 10 minutes?
I think so, yeah, and looks like we're on the last final laps as whoever is out there still valid on the laps. Max Ricker that we're on board with right now in the Toyota, still going along in his sort of twin, kind of a side-by-side livery. It's quite a fetching livery, and it's glad he's been quite consistent. It makes it nice and easy for us commentators. But he's gone for a spin. The rear goes round on the Toyota. He finds the wall. There we go, into the Avis barriers. There's the rear wing falling off, and unfortunately, it all came undone for Mr. Max Ricker at Poo on there. But unfortunately, that did not go to plan at all. I'm not too sure where he is. P7, so you definitely would have wanted to improve from there. We were watching Iman Ryan in the traditional Ferrari colours in the Ferrari, still 7/10 ahead of Daniel Benefield. That's seriously impressive, and it'll be interesting to see how he fires it into the wall. Maybe he wasn't too happy. He could have maybe improved, but he did not improve on his lap. And you see now Ricky Packham in the BMW, currently P10 right now. We'll see if he improves his positioning. Crosses the line, and it looks like it was a small improvement, but didn't get him any further up the field. Peter Papiano in the Peugeot right now, P8, does cross the line. Looks like no improvement from him. Ben Vincenter, potentially on a controller in the BMW, crosses the line in currently P13. Any change does go up to P11. That's very impressive. And Callum Lloyd there in the Cadillac, just not on the optimal lap.
Yeah, and as Mike Cricky has said in the chat, if meeting people at 12 Hour taught me anything, we have many Bens. So it could be Benny V, it could be a number of other Bs. Oh, you know it might be Ben Curtis. Diebols.
Did forget.
No lap time, but it could be him. That could make sense. But yeah, anyway, the GT3s, we currently still got Thurcolini on the lap, one of the last drivers who will be doing their qualifying, actually the last driver doing their qualifying lap. Currently in 6th position, pushing for a better time to maybe move up towards the front. We see as he comes around the final turn a little bit loose there as he comes out. That Porsche, obviously, a lot of power in it. And does he improve? It doesn't really look like he has. So it looks like he's going to stay in 6th behind Layla Bell, who is rounding out the top 5 at the moment. But yeah, that's a pretty good. Shady Samuel ended up stealing 2nd from Curry, and Courage actually dropped from 2nd down to 4th, with Lele improving on his time down to a 2:19 flat. So yeah, definitely a bit close up there in the top 3, top 4 of the LM GT3s, and there's a bit more of gaps in the hypers up in the top 5 of those hypers.
Ollie McLaren's at the front, typical OP car.
Teams and drivers.
I see Alexis there.
For a race start.
she. But anyway, yes, it's problematic, and yeah, shout out to Demio Fercolini. Did commentary on Split Yellow, here racing in Split Blue, Split LM Blue. And I know for sure he's going to be racing in Split Red immediately after this. At least he's got a nice break, actually, after this one, because this is going to be a 45-minute race here around Spa-Francorchamps in the, obviously, multi-class racing as going for it, as they form up on the grid. Won't have too long. Don't get the full 3 minutes. You'll get about 1 minute at most on the grid, so everyone needs to make sure they hit dry. But yeah, interesting to see. Will be a man Ryan from Benefield, Harry Lawrence in the red Alpine as well, right up there, and Chris Donnelly. Shout out to Chris Donnelly right up there. I hope his name is Chris. I don't know, Donnelly in the BMW. That's a very impressive time for him, ahead of Lucas Keys and Tim Vaughan and Max Ricker, a couple of Toyotas back there, and the Peugeot as well, Papiano. GT field, yeah, Amaral Naim from Shady, like you said, and Lele and Corey on the second row. Layla Bell also in the Lexus as well. Bloody a few Lexuses here and there. And Fercolini making up rounding off the third row. It should be quite interesting to see. And you know, we were at Monza. We were kind of blessed with actually quite a decent racetrack for multi-class racing. Here, I'm not too sure how well the multi-class traffic is gonna go here. Luthi, what are your thoughts?
Look, there's definitely spots where it can get a little bit scary with those hypers behind you. So GT3s are just going to have to probably play it a bit safe in some of these areas. As well as these hypers, they're going to have to be patient, especially in the chicanes. Coming up a Rouge, I feel like it might get a little bit shaky, especially on those early laps with the no tyre warmers for the hypers. I believe they will have a little bit of an issue if they try to go around a GT3 up Rouge and stuff. So it's going to be definitely interesting. I hope everyone survives. I'm just noticing Jack Miller in this race. I believe he did ACC and iRacing yesterday as well. So that means he's competed in 3 different OOR events in 2 days. So
Gone for the trifecta.
He's gone for the trifecta. He's done well in pretty much all of them from what I've seen. So this is,
Was he in yellow?
Is he in yellow or is he? No, he's moved to
red.
red. He's moved to red now. So he's going to do his third event. He's going to do his third event in red if he does actually race in that one. So he's doing 3 different games. And definitely playing the hardball because that's definitely difficult to get around. But I believe this is a short formation lap, so we are about to go. The Hypers are getting on there. Benefield and Ryan lining up that Ferrari versus Ferrari start. I'm very, very glad that they're 2 different complete colours. So this is going to be very easy to tell which is which.
Green flag.
Do we start up here or down the bottom? Oh, we start here. Here they go. They're off already. And it's the field spreading out quite a bit. We're going to go 2 by 2. Looks like a 3, and there's 1 car off already in the wall. Oh no, that's not a good start for whoever that was. Benefield. Oh no, Benefield getting in front and keeping it in front of Rain. Oh, another car into the gravel. Looks like they've made it back on safely though. And there's a couple of changes in the field. Yeah, Benefield getting in front of Rain, but Rain's looking to make another pass as they come up. Getting onto the straight. It looks like he's just got a little bit more speed, Rain, here, so he's going to try to go around the outside as we come into this first chicane, I guess we could. I'm just going to call it that because I don't know the names, but it's perfect for him because it means he gets the second part. And they've touched, which has put Harry Lawrence right onto the back of him. Harry Lawrence getting a little bit of contact there from Benefield, so a little bit of contact on the front, and it gives Lucas Keys the opportunity to move up on Donnelly as well because Donnelly gets a little bit slowed by that. So Lucas Keys now in 4th position. This is a lot of crazy racing at the start. As they come around into this awesome section of the track that I absolutely hate because I'm terrible at it. And we'll move back to the GT3s. Layla Bell currently in 6th position, so lost a position. And King has moved up as well a few positions there. So the GT3s have had a little interesting start as well. Lele's still in 2nd with Curry just behind. Wait, Shady Samuel's lost 2 positions there.
Yeah, looks like he's fallen down to P4 as well. I did notice Daryl Lim in the Peugeot was in the gravel trap at just after Brussels at No Name Corner. But yeah, it is going to be Herman Rain ahead of Daniel Benefield with Harry Lawrence taking a bit of the front damage. You can see there the sort of scorch marks on the front of that red Alpine. The Donnelly there in the BMW going wide, and Peugeot of Papiano is like side by side, I believe, with Tin Vaughan right now as they get to Blanchemont corner, and they all sort themselves out. Looks like Papiano does get ahead of Tim Vaughan right now with Max Ricker behind him, so not a great start for the Toyotas. Ricker trying to send it up the side, trying to capitalize on Vaughan's slowing down to get it past the Peugeot as well, but unfortunate start, and yeah, be worried for that damage on the front of Harry Lawrence's car. And did see at the start as well. Unfortunately, I think that was the Porsche of Nathan Monks, unfortunately, just going off at turn 1 and finding the wall on the outside. So I imagine quite a bit of damage for Toto in the Porsche. And see how he can recover. We're already seeing a few stops towards the back end of the field with a few people maybe potentially with damage. We do apologise if the cars look like they're about to take off over at Rouge. Please forward your complaints to Studio 397. We're on Asia servers, but the spectator camera is still doo-doo. But Harry Lawrence, Hanny Curry now having to fend off from Shady Samuel. Already a bit of a gap to Tok Bromo and Lele up ahead, I have to say. And definitely Shady wants to get a move done now. He's right under the rear wing of the Porsche in the McLaren. Is going to jink out to the left-hand side as it comes onto the Camel King, running down the lane, and it's going to front side by side, but the Porsche's going to have the inside line. But if Shady is committed enough, can Hound hold it around the outside? He breaks late and does get it around the outside. Does he make the corner? Yes, he does. Excellent movement from Shady Samuel.
Beautiful move, nice and clean, straight through, and I don't think Kerr's going to give him much of an opportunity to settle down because he's going to get right back on the back of Shady Samuel. Lele as well, not really giving much room to Amaral Name with only a 0.8, 0.9 second of a gap right now, so it's very, very small gaps between these top 4 drivers at the moment, and they're driving very hard, and King also sitting there waiting for this battle to continue. As we got our first hypercar coming through And I believe that is Callum Lloyd coming through right now, the GT3 field. So this is where we're going to see how the GT3s and the Hypers do handle the traffic and everything. As we do move back to Lucas Keys on the back of Harry Lawrence. Obviously, this is now going for position on the podium. And it looks like there's been a crash behind straight into the chicane. Oh my gosh. And another spin.
Oh, Ricky Packham goes for a sympathy spin, but I think that was Chris Donnelly and Peter Papiano going into the bus stop chicane and getting it all wrong as both of them were pirouetting. It looks like Chris Donnelly's caught himself going fairly nicely with Papiano down to P11 there. I'm not too sure. We might have to try and get a replay on that. Mr. Hignett all working his magic in the background. We do have to keep patient with that one, but I'm sure he's will try and do his best. But yeah, Lucas Keys really on the back now of Mr. Harry Lawrence is potentially damage on the red Alpine. As you can see it, Lucas comes out, pulls out to the outside, bangs doors with Harry Lawrence. Had the inside line, but Harry's gonna hold it around the outside. I think that bang was a little bit unnecessary. I'm not too sure. We'll leave that one to the stewards, but it's going to be still Harry ahead of Lucas. We'll see a replay now at the start, so you can see the Porsche there of Toto. He's just locked the rears, and the wheels come off.
He's lost the wheel.
Oh, he finds the worst possible spot. That is, Toto. Yeah, commiserations.
So I believe on the last lap, while that crash happened at the final chicane for Spa, Lucas Keys had a better entry and exit of that chicane, while Harry Lawrence went a bit wide into it. So I'm wondering if Lucas is kind of now just biding his time till they get there and hoping Lawrence does a similar maneuver around that chicane and has that similar trouble. And it's looking like he's just waiting. And here we go, another replay. This is the crash at the hairpin. It looks like it's a lockup, and he's just gone straight through. No. Oh, he's done it by himself, and he's taken out another car by accident with him.
I think that was Donnelly, so I was right. I was a bit confused to see how the BMW was doing that, but yeah, just a rear locking like we saw with Toto as well. You know, it is so easy to lock the rears, and he just, unfortunately locked it, and then unfortunately took the BMW with him. Probably damage is minimal for both of those cars as they can keep going, but definitely some flat spots on the Peugeot.
So I have a feeling, just by the timing boards right now, that Ferrari is definitely the car to choose. These two doing 202, 201 for Rain at the front there, 201.8 in his last lap. That's almost 2 seconds faster than third and fourth place. I know they're currently in a battle, but and they're currently having very similar times for those two. But yeah, the time difference between those Ferraris and the next cars is very big, and I know those drivers are good. Don't get me wrong, but I have a feeling that the other drivers are not that far off of the pace usually.
Yeah, I dare say Lucas is probably capable of doing easily 202s right now, given he might be just checked up behind Harry Lawrence. I will say though, like those two drivers at front. I gas Lucas up, and what does he do? He puts two wheels in the gravel. But yeah, the Ferraris, I've heard, like, I never really kind of found that kind of much speed with the Ferrari. Last time I drove a long time ago, many moons ago, but it is a very quick, a very, very quick car in the right hands, and dare say one of the strongest cars in the game. Obviously a LMH car as opposed to an LMDH, so it does have front motors on the front, so you kind of feel like it feels a bit like a front engine car sometimes, because it has got that weight over the front and that kind of four-wheel drive almost. But yeah, it's still a very, very, very strong car. As we see another Ferrari, this is Iman Rayan right now behind Max Ricker. Iman Rayan's, what am I talking about? He's fallen back. He's lost the lead. Something has happened to Iman Rayan, and he's already down to P6 right now on the back of Max Ricker.
Here is a replay. I'm guessing maybe
inside curb, outside curb. No, looking good.
Oh,
and the rear just slews around.
Maybe a little bit, maybe onto the throttle just a little bit early through there, and it's caused an issue. But he's going to go for a move pretty much instantly. But there's been a lockup, and there's been a three-way crash. Rain's caught a little bit of the side. Oh, and it's almost a crash on the rejoin as well. This is not a good spot. Donnelly almost losing it. Johnston's going to probably gain an advantage on Donnelly from that one. Yeah, that looked like a little bit of a mess, but Rain's now back up into fourth. But yeah, it looks like Benefield's just going to be nice and clear out the front now for a while, as Rayan has to now work his way back through the field. He's 10 seconds behind Lucas Keys, so Sorry, that's 10 seconds behind the leader. So he does have a bit of work to do if he does want to move back up.
Oh, Harry Lawrence. Harry Lawrence.
What happened to Lawrence? Did Lawrence just pit?
Oh, he's gone. I think he has boxed. The timing board did take a second. He is in the box. Not too sure. That was a little bit weird what happened to Harry Lawrence just now. But receive replay now. So this was Max Rico ahead of Iman Rayan. And I think Rico was just focused on Iman, putting him under pressure. And he brakes late, brakes deep. And unfortunately hits the back of, I believe, Tim Vaughan in the black Toyota. And a little bit squiffy with the rejoin. But I'm not too sure Iman Rayan. But to be honest, actually kind of best case scenario for Iman Rayan. He didn't get any contact. And he kind of gained 2 positions as a result.
I am wondering, the penalties post-race, obviously, I believe they do in LMU. I feel like there's going to be quite a few, because I think the smallest penalty in LMU is a drive-through, isn't it?
I'm not too up to date right now. I thought we had a way to maybe implement something smaller than a drive-through, but I'm not too sure if that's still the case. And maybe we are doing post-race penalties where we just add up the time. I do not quote me on that. We'll have to wait for the stewards. But yeah, I think in-game at most was we can only apply a drive-through, which is quite a substantial penalty, especially here because we do use the same pit lane like ACC, the endurance pit lane. So the 2 pit lanes combined, and yeah, a drive-through would be almost a lap. Probably.
Here's one to look at. I believe Harry Smiles just made it past Corey. I'm wondering if Corey has damage. And Smiles looking very, very quick in the BMW here. Looking maybe even for another move straight onto Dylan King. He's coming up quite fast. Harry Smiles actually got quite a lot of pace. If you look at his fastest lap, it's a 220.6. For reference on that, the fastest GT3 time we have at the moment is a 220.0. So it's 6/10 off the fastest time that anyone's doing in the GT3s in this race right now.
Yeah, it does seem to be improving a lot of pace as Harry Smiles. Getting a little bit of a bad exit as he runs with Puon. I'm not sure Hanny Corey's going to be able to do anything. He ducks out just to kind of distract. But yeah, nothing you can really do here. I wonder if it's like when Iman Rayan came through, I'm not sure if it was just throttle or whether it was just momentum. He kind of carried a bit too much speed in that Ferrari. But yeah, the BMW looking pretty good of Harry Smiles right now. Yeah, nice to see a BMW doing well. Haven't seen that do well in ACC for a while in our leagues. But Elena Bell trying to capitalize, goes up the inside of Hanny Corey, pulls alongside, but Hanny holds it around the outside, and no real overlap, so Layla is going to have to wait again. But yeah, Harry's come through, he's gone through Layla, he's gone through Hanny as well, so, and looking definitely on pace to maybe capitalize and catch up to Dylan King as well. We did see, I think Dylan King was that car that we saw forced onto the gravel at the race start, and did have a flash of the lights. I did see it, someone in the I think he's in the Caltex colours from Bathurst quite a while, a few years ago, I'd say, fetching them.
And we do have a replay. I believe this is Xavier Eaton just getting caught out by the brakes once again. Again, the ABS doesn't. There's no ABS on these cars, so I'm guessing he just caught a little bit too much. And I think he was trying to steer while having the well under brakes, and obviously that never goes well, especially in a car with no ABS. And is that Iman Rayan just driving?
Live. I think that is live. We've got Iman Rayan. I think he's had another moment at Puon, and he's unfortunately just scrabbling back. I was going to say, he must, regardless of anything, he must have had the monster flat spots from Puon when he went for a spin, and I think he's maybe gone for another moment right now. Thank you very much to Ben. He's doing his magic outside. But we will commentate right now. And still, yeah, Hanny Corey ahead of Layla Bell. We've got to replay now. Thank you very much, Ben. He comes through Puon corner, and he's just having a wobble. The rear is just unsettled, and he, just find the wall in large.
That's a big crash.
Yeah, I don't think he found the wall last time, but he's definitely going to be finding he found it this time, and he's going to be surely on his way to the pits.
I feel like lighter crashes than that have lost the wheel. He went flying into that wall and drove that car back. He's driving that car back to the pits. There was definitely a bit smaller crashes than that have had way worse damage from what I could tell with that one. Oh, and we've got a car missing a wheel here. What's happened there? I don't know who that is. Someone is missing a wheel up at the top of Rouge. I believe we'll get a cam on that soon, but that did not look too healthy. Oh, here we go. LMU Race Control has server admin penalties from 1 second to DT to stop and goes. So it's 1 second is the penalty? Is that, or is it like you can from 1 second? So I guess it's like more. Yeah. So Harry Smiles obviously driving quick. Just moving back to the race really quick while Ben does set up a good camera for this replay that we're about to get. And yeah, it's looking like a good, strong race up here in the front rows of the GT3. See Nathan Monks there in the Hyper, just making his way through the GT3 field. Here we go for the replay. This is the Aston I was talking about. Top of Rouge.
I think.
Looks like caught that curb and then just lost it. Oh, that's so much. That's the rear left gone and every bit of aero gone on that car. So
like
yeah,
Benjamin Higney's car from last night.
That's Ben was missing more of his front end than the rear, but yeah, pretty much.
Second hand, one used owner.
So 1 second is the minimum for the penalties that they can give.
Yeah, I think the issue with that is I'm not sure if our stewards don't necessarily have the admin privileges that they would be able to. And oh dear, there's a Ferrari facing the wall there. You know, on board with Lexus. I think this is Layla Bell right now. I don't know, we're back to live. Apologise on that one, but still trying to chase down Hanny Corey. Daniel Benefit there in the Ferrari, zigzagging his all the way through, no hesitation from him, and going through the field. But yeah. We did see Harry Smiles just up ahead, kind of starting to creep away from Hanny Corey. He did have the pace, did get through, but you know, necessarily trying to catch up the Mercedes ahead, kind of struggling, and especially with all these hypercars going through, it can really affect your overall pace in these GTs. You can catch up to a car, but then a hypercar comes through, you miss your apex, and then suddenly you got the car behind you all over you again. So that's just the ebb and flow of multi-class racing. It's also why we love this game so much as well. You can see now L Cook, it's a very fetching Lexus livery. Is that loads of Lexuses? I love to see it in ACC and LMU. What year is it?
I don't know when Lexus was popular in ACC, but apparently more recently than ever.
Because we're allowed it again.
We're allowed it again finally. But Lucas Keyes, Benefield's got a decent gap on him, and Lucas Keyes has definitely got a decent gap on Johnston there, who's in P3. So, but he's been boxed in by the cars all going, kind of almost trying to get side by side, and he's boxed in even more.
Awkward. He starts in on the BMW there. Oh, Lucas, oh dear. I don't think the BMW would have appreciated that very much. That was a little bit.
I think looking at that, it looked like he was a bit on, like he was a bit alongside by the time they reached the corner, and I think Smiles just maybe wasn't expecting him to actually go for it there, or yeah, so that's not worked out well for either of them, because now Harry Smiles has Curry just right on the back of him, and it's very, very close now because he's got a lot of people rearing to go. I was looking at King before. He was doing his fastest lap as a 22, but he's now down to the 220, so he's now back up to the same pace as everybody else. And that's meaning he's just keeping a nice little gap on Harry Smiles, who is having to defend against two separate cars that are behind him. And you see that pack building up as Patrick Johnston is going to make his way through down the straight here. Is he going to do the same thing Lucas did to Harry Smiles?
Gonna get two Alpines in one lap, but no, it did wait as well sensibly. Like, it's just like, yeah, you can sometimes make that gap, but that car has to turn in at some point as well. It's it is the onus on the faster car to overtake, safely overtake, blah blah blah. But it is kind of there's an art to it, and there's sometimes not even a right or wrong answer, and sometimes, well, no, there is definitely a wrong answer in a lot of cases, but sometimes there is no right. To see Max Rico and the Toyota side through all these cars as well, and I believe that so that is Cook in the car, Luke Cook in that blue Lexus just behind Layla Bell. That car started really far down in qualifying, but it's caught up to this pack, now up to P8. And it's going to be interesting to see how that one, another car to add on to this sort of four-way battle from P4 all the way down to P8 now.
Yeah, look, this is getting a little bit spicy, and we love a bit of spicy food around here sometimes. But it's certainly looking to get interesting. I'm also looking, do you think that the whole field is going to have to pit? It's a 45-minute race, so surely a pit stop isn't necessary.
Yeah, like, I'm quite out of touch, to be honest, with LMU and what cars can do. I think GTs, they should be fine, because I think GTs can do closer to an hour without too much effort. Hypercars, I feel like the rule's always been around 45 minutes is kind of what they can do. Like, they can eke it out to 50, but I think...
Oh, there's someone off there as well.
There's a hyper. It's the Toyota.
Is that Max Ricker?
No,
Tim Vaughan?
It's Tim Vaughan. It's no rear wing, bent rear suspension. Oh, the replay camera is going to have to get some work in again. Oh, sideways there from the Lexus, but was that self-induced or was the traffic a bit of a factor in that? We'll have to find out what happened to Tim Vaughan there on that last lap. That's we're only halfway. We're not even halfway through, Loopty. Getting thereabouts. But yeah, there's been so much action through the field right now. Unfortunately, that's one about I'm not too sure where Tim Vaughan was before that. Unfortunately, definitely falling out of the favour right now.
He was 4th position when that crash happened. As we do jump into a replay, here he goes. He comes around and gets on that curb and it just flies across. That's a huge crash there. I don't think the car would be moving if this was real life.
No.
Like you were in sim racing. That's was
like a 60G
crash. So Tim Vaughan obviously having to pit after that one just a little bit. But
was it the outside curb on entry, or was it the?
I think it was the inside curb as he's come in. I think he's just clipped it and it's put that rear just loose and it's just gone. And once those hypers go, it is very almost impossible to stop. But here we go. We are now getting some receipts from the stewards box. Thank you, Linux. Number 127 has been given a 15-second penalty for an incident on lap 4. And number 43 has been given a DT for an incident on lap 8. So I'm trying to figure out which drivers these are.
That's the leader. That's Daniel Benefield.
Oh, so Daniel Benefield's caught a... Oh, because you do remember very early on, him and Rayan were side by side, and there was a tap and everything. And the GT3 leader also got a track limit DT in the midst of all this.
Top Brummer, Admiral Naeem in the McLaren. Unfortunately got a track limit DT as well. Thank you very much to Ben as well. It's a little confusing, that one, but that's going to set things back and really going to set up Eshan Lele. Only 2 seconds behind this car. He might wait until the last possible moment he can do that drive through. But yeah, he's already spent all his. I think you get up to like 4 or 5 points of track limits, and he's already spent all those tokens. Layla Bell going to send it on Hani Corey. Draws alongside the rear axle. Room given by Hani. Going to have the inside though for the second part, and Layla's going to have to go out wide. And now Luke Cook in the other Lexus. Going to drive by, but Hani successfully defends from Layla, and really getting a little bit frustrated and impatient right now. But the moves are starting to very wide there from Curry, and Layla's going to have the inside line, and surely going to have this move done and dusted. And the run now down to Eau Rouge. And Hani, is he still alongside? I'm not sure. He's got a very minimal overlap and tucks back in. It's a sensible move. And now Luke Cook surely going to try and pounce on the Porsche right now. Slowly gets closer through Eau Rouge and through Radion. Going to draw alongside, outside. Going to get a slipstream from the fellow Lexus as well, up ahead. And going to be on the outside potentially. But does he draw alongside enough? Going to draw ahead late on the brakes there from Hadi Corey and decisively make sure that move and that door is shut for the second part of the Lacoon chicane.
Just more of an update. Looks like 333 and 19 also have DTs as well. And we got some news about how WEC to do their overtaking. Overtaking between hypercars and LMGT3 is governed by rules designed for safe mixed-class racing, emphasising that faster cars, the hypercar, are responsible for safe passing without disrupting. So that would go back to the incident Lucas had where he got on and tapped Harry Smiles a little bit on the door. So it is, under the rules, probably more Lucas's fault if anything bad had happened there.
It's always Lucas's fault.
Yeah, we all dislike Lucas because I can't say the other one.
Yeah, we all definitely didn't phone in last week to tell someone on the mountain who happened to be broadcasting how much we all hate Lucas.
Who happens to be racing right now, by the way. Dan Madden is in the car, and so is Matt Madden. They're all racing at the same time, and there's quite a few Pidgey boys out here tonight racing for the team Pidgey.
Pidgey gang.
I got to say, I really do like the colours of the Pidgey.
Being done by Matt himself as well. He's like his liveries are, yeah, as a livery sado, to be honest, it does an amazing job on these liveries, I have to say.
I do have a place in my heart for the Pidgey boys. I'm trying to ignite more ACC beef between Skill Issue Racing and the Pidgey boys.
Know what you're like with your curses.
But I do love the Pidgey boys. And it looks like Admiral Name is serving his DT now. You see him dropping quite a few positions as they go. Clearly not enough for the lead. But you know what's good about that is Lele is now in the lead with Shady Samuel 2 seconds behind. So after having a disconnect last week, this could be the time. And I'm not trying to curse it, I promise you, Lele. This could be the time that you get your win and then get your first place in this race in LMU. But yeah, that is a very big trundle of shame, all the way down to 11th currently. So big DT. That is how much the DT's hurt here at Spa. It is a long time to go through those pits. I can't remember the exact amount of time, but it is forever.
I think Loopty's wheelie bin moved faster than that when the last storm rolled through, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, it is a pretty sorry state, especially of all places to get a drive-through. Here is the last place you wanted, but got it only 25 minutes into the race as well, did Mr. Tok Bromo, and that's, yeah, unfortunately going to pay the price, and he falls all the way down to at least, where even is he? Well,
he's all the way at 13. Yeah, he's dropped from 1st to 13th. And another one to talked about right now, just really quickly, sorry Cam, is Benny V. He's come all the way from the back. Oh, here we go. We got a replay here of another Aston. Oh! A bit loose on turning.
This was P8 or P7, I'm not too sure. They were just behind the big field.
And they've turned off the track, and they've hit the wall when they've come off the track to get out of the way.
No.
Oh, that's really not what you want. So yeah, as I was saying just really quickly about Benny V.
Graham Hill.
Benny, oh, that was Graham Hill who got into that crash. Not great. Benny V has done exceptional work. He started, I believe, all the way back in the teens, and he's up to 5th place at the moment. So having a really good race here, and he's got Peter just in his mirrors. Probably, I'm guessing he made a pass on him just a little bit ago. But yeah, Benny V having such a good race.
I don't think he's on controller because I want to say Ben Curtis might be the one on controller looking, because Ben Curtis is actually pretty decent at this game as well. We've seen in the last few races he's kind of been up there in the top, top 8, top 5 of the GT field, and it looks like he's had a few issues this race. But I think that might be maybe it's Ben Curtis Diables who's the one on controller, and not like Benny V, because yeah. Maybe I'm selling Benny V short, but yeah, he's really looking under control out there right now.
I'd say that's a more realistic thing at the moment with the positions everybody's in. But I'll give it to Curtis. That's a very good run from him for being on the controller, and it's very difficult in these types of simulators. It's terrible.
Horrible.
I love how we get
Forza, not for this.
Yeah, I do love how we get it. Oh, is that a pass there? The Lexus and Curry have gone side by side into the turn. I don't know if. Oh, this is Cook. Yeah. So Cook's still just sitting behind. I'm wondering if Cook did get past and Curry's just gotten back in front, but it's looking a bit spicy. These two are a big challenge at the moment. So they're actually giving Layla Bell. Oh, it's really close. They're giving Layla Bell quite a bit of room as they do battle it out. I think they've lost now almost 2 seconds to Layla Bell within this battle. So Layla Bell obviously taking advantage of the fact that they're going to be slow and is going to try catching back up to Harry Smiles. And it looks like Cook's going to backs out of it last second. Good move. Just staying in the mirrors.
Trying to upset Honey Corey as much as they can, but yeah, I mean, to be honest, you have to remember, like, this is all still kind of a fight for overall P3 in the GT field, because we see like Harry Smiles is just a little bit ahead of Layla Bell, and then King is in P3 as well in the Mercedes, so really not that far away. It is all very doable in the last just over 14 minutes left in this race, and potentially with the hypercars as well, I mean, that can have an effect on this battle. Obviously, Cook now getting a good run despite 2 wheels in the gravel all over the back of the Porsche. The Porsche suffering on the straight. There is a he's going to send him to the wall.
Oh,
no!
And there goes Cruz, right? Like that's done. That car is dead.
That car is dead.
I'm surprised it still has a wheel.
it somehow still has 4 wheels. It looks like there's maybe a bit of confusion or maybe desperation from the Lexus, but he went to the inside. There was a tiny overlap, and unfortunately, it's just tapped the rear of the Porsche, and just at the tank slapper just on the Porsche just sent it towards the barriers. That's a horrible crash.
I believe we're going to get a replay. Yeah, I believe we're going to get a replay in a minute. That car spinning would have sent the wheel flying, but yeah, I believe there was just that little bit of a touch, and it's caused issues there as they've come through, and it's not great. Here we go. Here is the replay as they go, and I'm wondering if he's gone on. No, there wasn't a gap there for a car, and it looks like he's just gone and pushed. Yeah, I think he was hoping that a gap would open up, and Curry's just kept it just enough on the inside that there's not a gap there, and he's gone through. I believe that's going to be a pretty harsh penalty for something like that. Not where you want to end up right now, but that does give a lot of room to Layla Bell. Layla Bell really at this point only needs to focus on catching up to Harry Smiles and then possibly making a move up towards Dylan King, who is only 4 seconds ahead of Harry Smiles at the moment. So definitely a big one. And we're going back down the field a little bit. Graham Hill, Thurcolini, and Parkin and Bromo. This is Bromo, the original race leader, is currently behind this little pack of cars. Thurcolini, not a slow driver, been driving that Porsche since I've been in OLR in ACC, so definitely knows his way around the car. He looks like he's doing a decently strong race, but Admiral Name is no driver to scoff at. He is very, very quick. So we'll see if he can make his way through these two at any point here. But it looks like Thurcolini might be getting ready to make a move on Hill. Has that just a little bit of extra pace in the Porsche than the Aston there, which you don't normally hear about. But it's looking like Thurcolini's any point now might go for a move. He's looking around the outside, just showing himself in the mirrors. Very close. Oh, and Hill gets a little bit slidey there as well. And his hypercar's approaching from behind.
Blue flag.
Oh, this is going to get very interesting. Hopefully the Hypers catch when they're on the straight. No, they're here. Patrick Johnston is here. He's arrived. Is he going to wait, or is he going to try to get around? I think he's going to wait here. He's been taking the safe route, and he's waiting, and he's going to go around here. But this might open up Thurcolini to jump on the back of the Hyper, get that little bit of error. As Rika has to go through between them. It's good that Hill moved over to the right that second, because that could have been a collision and a half. But Thurcolini just not having that little bit extra pace.
In hypercar, so they didn't want to hang around too much.
Oh, here goes Emerald Name braking a little bit later. Is he going to get alongside enough? There's overlap enough. Thurcolini leaving the room, but it's going to make Emerald Name just a little bit slower than him through that chicane. But I think Emerald Name's had a bit of an better exit, and he might get him on T1. He will see how the braking goes. He's not too far back again, so he'll sit there and wait. But he's looking maybe to scare Thurcolini into taking a wider line. And here we have a penalty for 808 for 15 seconds for an incident on lap 12. So 808. I don't know which car it is. I'm going to keep it.
It is. I'm not seeing it on the timing tower right now. But yeah, these guys are all catching up to Neil Wood as well in P7. But there's a run there for Top Bromo. They're going to draw alongside. And I think Thurcolini. What's happened to Thurcolini? He's really slowed down. I'm not sure if he's purposely letting him go, but that's really dropped off.
Really slow.
Something's really. Is he stopping? Is he pulling out? Thurcolini!
Did he have a slide there coming out of that area? Because he's still going, and it looks like he's picked up the pace again. I'm wondering if he had a bit of like a moment, has caught it, and has just slowed down to kind of calm himself as he gets back into the racing mode. But you see, back onto the McLaren. Emerald Name is right on the back of Graham Hill now. Not going to leave any room, and Wood is really not that far ahead either. So it is time for him to move. And it looks like we have a DT for Packham in the Hyper.
No, it's Bromo.
No. It's Bromo. Has he got another DT?
He's got another DT, yes.
What has happened?
McLaren drivers.
I'm guessing that's from the
track limits
again. Because obviously track limits in LMU especially are the white line. You cannot go over the white line. So it does make it a little bit more difficult, because usually you can get quite wide on, especially like this curb.
Graham Hill's just gone off.
Is that Graham Hill?
He's gone. He's gone. There was gravel.
Oh, here we go. Here's a replay. This is what happened to Thurcolini. So we watch as he comes up. He's a bit slow here. I think he had like maybe the tiniest bit, like he's hit the curb there and it's pushed him a little bit. I didn't think he'd have to slow down that
some
much.
hardware issue or something like that. Something.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's got pets. Jumped on his lap or something like that in the middle of a race.
Let's just say that's. I'm not too sure, but not great for him. But here we got a replay. This is of Hill going off, I believe. So he comes around the corner and just loses it. Yeah.
Oh no. Oh.
Just not enough. Obviously, the having the pressure of the hyper and another driver behind you who is, I will say, one of the fastest drivers probably in OOR at the moment, Admiral Name. It is a lot of pressure to have him behind you as well as hypers coming up as you enter turns.
I will say that as well. Like, I feel like that's one thing that this game does that ACC doesn't. A lot of people come from ACC. Like, the rear really slews round, like, kind of late through the corner, like, with the weight transfer, which I don't feel like you really get with ACC. Like, once you turn it in, like, it feels like generally the car sticks in ACC. With this game, I don't know, I could be wrong. Maybe it's a front engine racer talking here, but the rear just kind of like, you've seen a few of those right now come through the field. Like, it's just, the rear starts to slew around and there's the weight transfer. You can't just sometimes carry all the speed into the corner because the rear sometimes just won't hack it.
It also just seems like it's a lot less savable. Like if you start having a spin, it is a lot of work to save it. So
which is realistic, to be fair.
Which is
once it starts to go and in that situation, because you got the whole momentum of the car going there, and it's sometimes it's catchable and sometimes it's really like you're fighting the whole weight of the car pretty much. But speaking of a fight here, we've got two Lexuses giving Harry Smiles all to think about. A bit of a bad exit there from Layla Bell. It's going to get Luke Cook catching them ever so slightly. The camera angle maybe helping it a little bit, but as they run now through Blogschmont and the run down to the bus stop, it is potentially Luke gonna have a run, gonna have a look. Is he gonna go left? Is he gonna go right? You can jink right. I was expecting maybe a jink right to the inside line, but he does wait. Very sensible there from Luke.
Sorry, I thought Harry Smiles was in fourth.
Yeah, where's the Mercedes? Where's Dylan? King?
Dylan King is now in 22nd, having pitted on lap. Was that 14? So I am wondering if Dylan King's had a moment there or didn't fuel enough. I'm going more for the side of possibly had a moment.
Yeah,
because that is a lot of spots lost there for pitting. So that puts this battle directly in contention for getting third place. So jumping on that podium. Layla Bell is going to push very, very hard now to make sure it happens. And you see Ben Vincent there in the hypercar approaching this little battle here, which might actually, as they do approach, I think Vincent is going to clear it. Yep. But if Vincent has a moment, here's a replay of this is Dylan King here.
Oh no.
Coming around, and it's always a Rouge that has the problem. Yeah, clips like, there. Oh, was this? Wait, this is exactly what the Aston did, but he didn't lose his wheel. He just lost his wing. But that's going to be, I'd imagine that's an RTG, which is a tow. Yeah. So, does this game account for tow time?
I'm not too sure. I think he might have drove it back because I think this game, it's iRacing. I can't remember if it's this game or iRacing that if you RTG, you're done. I think you're done. Yeah,
I think that's this one.
There's no tow in this game. Like, if you RTG, you're done. You're retired.
Okay.
So he has driven it back, I think.
Which is difficult with no wing around the track like this.
Actually, I'm not sure if he's actually out there doing laps, potentially. I think he may or may not be. So if he might actually be parked.
Yeah, look, I think we've had a few retires this race, which is understandable with a lot of these crashes. But yeah, even that whole hyperfield has changed up. Lucas Keys and Patrick Johnston in second and third at the moment in those Alpines. Quite a bit back from Benefield, who in that Ferrari has been driving very, very well. And yeah, and as we look at Cook alongside with Layla Bell, both Lexi going around, and it looks like Layla Bell's just going to keep it in front now. But is Cook going to look for a move as they move towards the chicane? I think there's too much of a gap now, and Layla Bell is just going to brake fine. It catches up to Harry Smiles in the braking zone. I'm wondering if Layla carries more speed through into the braking zones and is braking just that little bit later. I'm guessing Alexis might have better brakes in the BMW.
Yeah, I just see Layla was just a little bit like they were trying to have a look at the BMW, but then ruined their kind of run through the second part of Stavelo, which did give Luke Cook a chance on them, but kind of hard to make a run from the outside with not much overlap. So interesting to see how we go. We only got about 3.5 minutes to get it done, as well as we're nearly going to tick over short. Don't go anywhere as well. We will have split red later on, and we will have our giveaway draw as well for the Thermaltake gift card, I believe, as Ricky Backham just gets through.
Oh my gosh. So just some information on that. We have gone from 42 to 28 drivers so far. So a lot of drivers have had severe enough crashes or incidents that have made them retire from the race. So not great for this field tonight. I'd say this is almost.
I mean, that's in line with the reverse grid race that we had.
I was going to say it's worse than the split yellow reverse grid race that we had last night. Like, I know we had a Porsche on its side, but I feel like that went decently.
Yeah, it's a bit easier to retire on this game than, to be fair, than the ACC. But yeah, I get what he's saying. Yeah, I think the race organisers saw reverse grid and just went, I don't want peace, I want problems.
Yeah, and here we go, Xavier Eaton, pretty, I'd say, an AM driver in those hypercars, is currently coming through this pack, and he's going to just be patient. I mean, that's what you want to see. But of course, the hypers at low speeds, I think, have a little bit more trouble because their aero doesn't really kick in at those low speeds, from what I understand of how hypercars aerodynamics work. So being stuck behind a GT3 isn't always the greatest thing for them. But he's going to make his move now to go through this GT3 pack.
Yeah, and Harry Smells kind of go up the hook as well. Like, Leatherbell's all over the back of him, but has a better run through Stavilo and can't do much from the Lexus as well to catch up. And yeah, kind of just stuck there a little bit in the no man's land, kind of having to rely on a bit of a mistake from Harry Smiles, but definitely looks like Lale's kind of maybe a little bit quicker through the middle part of the track. Really catches up, unfortunately, through Stavilo. The Smiles is really getting a good exit. Again, does look like a very strong package right now. But yeah, to touch on the hypercars, like, to be honest, they weigh pretty much just not too far off what a GT car is because of all the batteries and everything else. So they have all the weight, and to be honest, they have the kind of mechanical grip as well. They're just not in their operating. They're kind of their sweet spot once they get to those slower corners. And when we got TC and ABS and the GTs, not to say that the hypercars don't have TC, but it's all being able to attack the corner at that speed.
I just love watching the cars fly as they reach the top there. It's so good. It makes me think someone's about to crash every time. We have Mark Bushell approaching this pack, which could shake it up once again. These hypers just coming through. We are entering the final minutes of the race. I believe it's going to go to 48 minutes, and that's just to account for the extra lap. Am I right in that, I'm guessing? We're at 44 out of 48, it says. So that is what I'm understanding.
Yeah, it's. I think it is. Yeah, it is accounting for the extra. I think 40. Once it gets to 48 minutes, that's when it'll tick the session over, because by that time everyone should be done anyway. I think that's just where it's confusing. But it is going to be a 45-minute race, and obviously depending on where the leader is, whether we do an extra lap or not, we shall see. But yeah, definitely all been on Daniel Benefield's hands. We did see, like, Man Ran did have the pace and still has the fastest lap as well to really kind of have a go. Challenge Daniel Benefield, but unfortunately two kind of self-imposed mistakes, two incidents at Pouan. We'll definitely have Iman Ran something to review about, but Layla Bell still all over the back. It's definitely a lot quicker through these corners. A little bit of door bumming, a little bit of rubbing racing. Gonna be on the outside now for Stavilo too. Gonna be really difficult to make it. A little bit of banging again, and they both gonna find away from the gravel, but it's still gonna be side by side between the V8 Lexus, between the inline 6 twin turbo BMW. It's gonna be inside for Layla Bell coming into Blanchman. Will they go to side by side through the most dangerous corner?
Oh no!
Contact, and the BMW is going to go spinning. He's going to go round. He's going to find the gravel, and the two Lexuses will go through. Where is Harry Smiles? He does catch it up. Wow.
Very nice catch there from Smiles. He's definitely got flat spots on those tires. You see him struggling to make it into the chicane there. So I think out of all that, Cook has benefited the most, and it looks like, because I'm thinking Layla Bell might get a penalty there. I'm not too sure. But that is because that is the fight for podium. If Layla Bell does get a penalty, that puts Cook into P3.
He's just spun behind the Harry Smiles. Just saw him go for a spin. Oh no, but we're getting Ben's on the replay cameras. He's on the action, but yeah, it was absolutely just door banging between the two of them. I think kind of no wheel one side more than
Could
the
even
other.
just be a racing incident. In all honesty, it's a difficult corner to go side by side. Here we go. Here's the replay. Layla Bell, they're on the inside. Harry Smiles on the out, and they come around. It's good here. And it's just like, I think Smiles hasn't left enough room there for Layla. Like, it's just banged into the side of Layla. As Layla's against the curb, you can't really go more there. And it's like, you're not expecting much more. I don't think Layla will be getting a penalty for that one, but that is up to the stewards to decide. It isn't all clear. It has been marked as a racing incident. So it is, again, that's a situation there where it's always dangerous to go side by side there. And it just seems Harry Smiles has come off worse.
Yeah, and I don't think it was a really intention. No intention. He didn't bang on purpose, like from Harry as well. Like he kind of just. It is so hard to turn into a corner like that. A corner that you've taken the apex pretty much all race, and then you have to suddenly you have to guess where to turn in, but still allow for a car on the front. And unfortunately, you get it wrong. And for every problem is like. If you do leave too much space, you're just out in the weeds, and then that's what goes through your mind in that moment. And unfortunately, got it wrong. Kind of went for a half spin. Frankly, didn't lose too much time. But
sorry, I believe that's Lele crossing the line now, unless the race is 48 minutes. So the line I think is down here, isn't it, for the finish? Or is it up?
It'll be the F1 start-finish line, so this will be the last lap. So his Cook is actually going to send it way too deep. Is that going to stop? It does stop. Layla Bell, unfortunately, loses the position potentially on the last lap as they cross the line, surely any second now. But I'm not too sure. Layla either brake really early or Luke Cook go through there. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, so this is actually, the last lap now. So Layla Bell getting kind of a little bit stuck behind these two hypers, having to brake a little bit earlier. And the race does continue. This is Daniel Benefield now crossing the line. So that is the race done from the perspective of the hypers, I believe, as the timer is up.
I think there's something wrong here. Actually.
There's definitely something wrong because they all seem to be still racing.
No, I think the race is actually 48 minutes.
Yeah, so
45 minutes.
But Daniel Benefield has crossed the line after the 48. So unless he pulls over now, I don't know.
He's still going around. It's still lapping. I think the top timer has been. Okay, Lucas Keys is second. Is stopped in the wall. I'm not too sure if this is him parking up or. I don't think the race is finished.
Race should definitely be over for the hypers at least, because I know.
There's someone from the stewards box.
Well, there's Lucas inside of a wall from Nathan Monks and Patrick Johnston. Benny V. Yeah, so I reckon Daniel Benefield has finished the race there and might just be doing another lap for fun. Ishan Lele is still actually in the race, though. All the GT3s, I believe.
I don't think the race finished at 45, that's for sure.
No, I definitely think it finished at 48. I think Lele is now on his final lap, and does that mean, do all the GT3s stop when the hypers finish, or is it just when the GT3s finish?
It's the same for everyone.
Okay, so this will be the last lap for Lele, and whoever else is left on the track. Yeah, so looking at that board up, okay, there definitely is. That's the end of the race there. And Lucas Keys is in the wall. He has become one with the wall, thanks to every other hyper out there pushing him in.
Gonna somehow crash the server, knowing no imagine after that, but yeah, do apologise for all that.
This is great. Four hyper, and Lele enjoyed at the end of the race there, just getting up against the wall to push, make sure Lucas stays in there and maybe gets through the tiebreak. Look at this
This is the
lineup.
most autistic thing I'm gonna ever say, but the tyre bundle looks like those Cheetos from Tom.
Okay. It looks like everybody's kind of backed off from... Nope, they're getting back into it. He's going fully through that wall if they have a choice. But very, very great into the race. So that was some very good racing. Obviously, a few incidents, a lot of self-inflicted retirements, as we have been informed in the chat. Only a few results as an incident. Maybe Lucas Keys needs a retirement from the after race after this one. That is a new wall design.
Yes, for sure. And yeah, I do apologise for all the confusion at the end there. And It's Lucas Keys in there, but it is going to be Daniel Benefield finishing ahead of Lucas Keys and Patrick Johnson for the top 3 in Hypercar, and Shan Lele, Shady Samuel, and Layla Bell will make up the top 3. So, so Luke Cook is in P5 somehow as well.
Wait,
so I
what?
don't understand what's happened. So Harry Smiles finished P4 behind Layla Bell. So I think those guys raced another lap, which is what we were seeing, and I think that confused us. So those guys raced a whole other lap still, maybe through Blanchimont. I'm not too certain. I'm still confused because
I think
happened,
Daniel Benefield just went for a fun lap around, and I believe the top 5, 6 of the GT3s were able to cross the line before the time ended.
But it still doesn't explain how Harry Smiles has gone ahead back of
unless Cook has had a crash. That's all right. That's the end of the race. That was a good race. We had some good leaders. Benefield clearing it out and taking the first. We're going to move on to the wheel spin here. You can have a look at if you go back, you can have a look at the results from that race. But we are on to the Thermaltake $50 e-gift card for week 2. Of course, these are only for the drivers who are classified as finishers in any of the events during previous week. So there's quite a lot of drivers on here. So I'm hoping it's me. Got my fingers crossed. I'm ready for it.
Maybe you can win something.
Maybe I could win something for once. It'd be very nice. Already won something at the Thermaltake booth back at PAX. I'm hoping they're there this year again. But I'm very excited for this wheel spin. I believe we'll get started on that in just a moment. And here we go. The wheel is spinning. The wheel is spinning. Who is it going to land on? It's landing nowhere near my name. It looks like it's going to be Chris Neville takes it out. Chris Neville has won a $50 gift card, e-gift card, I should say, from Thermaltake. Thank you, Thermaltake, for sponsoring pretty much all of our sprint series. We appreciate it, and that's going to be great for him. And we are going to move into the overtakes of the week.
Yeah, I don't think done one of these at the time, but going to have the thermal overtake of the week. Thank you for all the suggestions, and make sure you get your submissions as well in for this week. And then it will be announced on the same, but it's going to be Hammond on Taufik at the Bathurst 12 hour.
I think we're going to see a move here, at least a little look of the nose. I would lift.
I don't know if
here.
Yep, go well
like this. Perfect. Give him the room.
Like this.
Oh, that's yes.
Wow. He's going to try and do the over and under. We've seen this before. He's going to try and they said go around the outside.
Obviously, a lot of hard battling at Bathurst.
If I was Hammond, I would have gone a switchback. Oh, a bit of a touch.
Lucky champion. That is how you drive Bathurst. Great racing between both of them.
And we move on to a second Bathurst clip. I don't know who this driver is, but they're pretty cool. Just want to say,
racing nepotism.
Cricky did not let me through. Cricky did not let me through.
And the Ferrari's going everywhere at the behind too. This is an exciting hit.
See, I think that's a great pass.
I think Cricket should have called his number.
What for?
Bloody wildcard drivers.
Oh, and we've got an Alton clip here in the wet. This is a good one.
I think this was Zach Warren around the outside of the McLaren. And unfortunately, McLaren goes for a little bit of an excursion, scares a Porsche off.
Look, I looked a bit scary after that overtake through.
That's the Porsche there. It looks. I think that's a lap car, is it? I think it's a lap car. Okay, cool. I was about to say, we'd be hoping there that.
Hope we don't have this kind of rain at Brands Hatch.
Is it mixed or is it wet? What's the ghost brand?
I don't know. I already struggle at Brands. I don't need any more struggle.
Here's a replay of it, of their little overtake through. Very clean there. And another Bathurst clip, Layla Bell versus Vediger. This is, some very, very good clips from that big, long 12-hour race that we do almost every year.
Hold it round the outside of Venegut. Oh, Porsche traction.
Just so stable through there. That is insane. What a move there by Layla Bell.
Surprise Bercolini at the end there.
That is your 4 clips, of course. I personally would say B is pretty good, but I gotta love that clip A. Hammond versus Taufik, 2 very, very quick drivers, were side by side for so long. But you can never deny a cutting as well. Going around the outside of the cutting is incredible move. And then, of course, that clip of the rain, always scary going side by side in the wet, but even through a chicane type corner like that we saw, all of them have pretty good overtakes for this week. All right. And I believe we are just about to pass off to our split red people over at Barcelona. There will be I believe, a tiny break as qualifying is not for a few minutes. But yeah, it's split red. Our boys are back from the mountain. Our commentators are back from the mountain. And they'll be providing some entertaining comms for tonight's split red, or as it's lovingly known as, split blood.
Oh, good evening. We are back. We are so back, and it's Circuito Barcelona tonight. Welcome to your Thursday night OOR late night session. You got myself, Matt Madden, and with me in the commentary box tonight is the one and only Liam Hamilton. How are you, mate?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am doing fantastic. Unfortunately, not here in person this time with Matt. We are separated once again, so this won't be the same. I don't know how we're going to top last week, but we'll try our best.
It feels weird not looking you in the eyes. I got so used to it for the 90 minutes that we had. It was wonderful. Well, more than 90 minutes. We had a whole weekend of it, and a massive thank you to everyone that showed up last week. What an incredible session, sitting there blowing a gale. Again, we didn't have a wind meter going, but I think it was about 125, 130k an hour wind blowing through. Not a word of exaggeration. You and I sat there huddled up in a tent. A decent crowd gathered around. It was awesome.
We did. We had a peanut gallery behind us. I think I stopped feeling my legs at one point because I was still only wearing shorts, was the panic to get all the way down to your campsite. It must have been a kilometer away from where we were camped. But yeah, it was absolutely amazing. As we are just coming into the start of qualifying here, we've got Brino Ellis, unsurprisingly, at the top of the session, but I don't know if there's been any laps set yet. I think these might be coming through our first couple of flying laps here. In the Audi here, I assume the Audi's going to be quick around Barcelona, but the Audi... It is an Audi, so a couple of curbs here. Exactly, a couple of curbs here that you do not want to hit in any car, especially in an Audi, as it gets a little bit of slide there through turn 7 into turn 8, coming through this fast right-hand kink in turn 9. We're going to get a little bit of washout there, running a little bit wider than he would have liked. I think he would have tried to get a little bit more speed through that apex there, but the tyres are still going to come up to temperature, so still a little bit to go here. Speaking of temperature, I can only assume we are looking at probably 25 odd degrees ambient temperature, so these tyres are going to be crying by the end of this lap.
Yeah, too right. The Daily Bailey shows sun all the way through these two races tonight, and that's a key thing that we should probably talk through. It's a bit of a mixed format to what we're used to. So tonight we've got those two 25-minute races, but there's something a little bit special about that second race. Hamo, talk us through it.
Yeah, so the second race, we're going to have a top 20 reverse grid. So after the end of the first race, everyone who finishes outside of the top 20 will run another qualifying session, and then they will form the back of the grid. The first half of the grid, nearly half of the grid with the number of cars we've got in here, will form the top 20 ahead of that. So the winner of the first race will be starting from position 20. And as I learnt from experience last night, it is carnage back there. And I don't know if anyone else was watching last night, but we had 11 penalties handed out post-race stewards and post-race, and I feel sorry for the stewards. They definitely needed a very heavy drink after that.
Absolutely, and I'm going to blindside you a little bit with this, Hamo, but I think you'll enjoy sort of playing through this one with me. I got a message from you this afternoon saying, well, how on earth are we going to keep things interesting after last week? We had a wonderful, wonderful session, so much going on at any given point in time. We were both sipping responsibly on beers. It was great. I'm sipping a beer now. I'm sure you have something similar too. But I thought we might actually play a little bit of bingo during that second race. So some of these are going to be secret to everyone. Hamo, I'm going to text you a photo. But some of them will call out, and we'll see if we can't get bingo by the end of that second 25-minute race as we watch qualifying here. 7 minutes, 20 seconds left to go, which gives us enough time to keep an eye on Breno here and what he's doing. He was a half a second up. Oh, no, there he goes. Great exit out of that little corner. That's a good little complex to get through in a mid-engine car. Everything feels great except for section 3 in a mid-engine car. So sector 1 in a mid-engine car. But let me go through some of these little items for you here tonight, Hamo. So reverse grid, lap 1 safety car. I think that's pretty much a given. Surely we're going to get that.
Yeah, we didn't see one last night, but I think we probably would have if the stewards weren't already busy dealing with incidents. Is what I heard there. As Breno does a 43.2, that is very quick in these temperatures. Aiden Squires, not to be outdone, is still almost half a second up on this lap as he goes even faster by 1/1000th of a second. How close would you like it here?
Nice shot there, Squirrels. Well done. He was talking a big game earlier on in the week, so it's good to see him actually, sticking it to the track a little bit. As we're on board with Mateen, who's 0.1 up, which gives me a little bit more time to read through. So I reckon someone's going to go bowling on the inside grass into turn 1 at the race start. I also think that someone's going to go yeeting over the final chicane. So our man on the cams tonight, Biggie Higgy, bringing you the Thermaltake Sprint Series for your Thursday late night, is going to keep an eye on that final chicane for us. I also reckon someone's going to go too wide And my last one that I'll read out now is I think that another class other than Pro wins the second race, which I'm very much looking forward to seeing. Last night we had a silver, first and second on the grid at the end of the race, which is great.
Yeah, we did. That's certainly not unheard of, and I think some of those are likely. Going too wide is like saying there will be a race, so not sure exactly what you're playing with that one. Maybe 3 wide might be something more to
yeah,
off that
this
bingo
is true.
list, but yeah, who knows? Anything is absolutely possible there. As Breno Ellis, I don't know if that's an ACC leaderboard thing there, or is he actually invalidated that lap. As we drop down to Zach Warren here in the 222 Porsche. 222 number, unfortunately not having the best of luck at Bathurst, so hopefully he's not going to repeat that one. Just over a 10th up there on his personal best so far of a 44.2, currently sitting there in P7. There's a car off to the right-hand side there of turn 5. Not even sure exactly who that was. That is a BMW sitting back there. As we come through the tricky left-hander of turn 7, trying not to run too wide at turn 8. The car likes to slide out of that one. Come up to the run for turn 9. Hold your breath. Dab of brakes. Turn it in. 157, and the apex speed is pretty good. Onto the long-ish back straight into the tight turn 10 hairpin.
Zach Warren here, 0.2 up. And this is such a good little track. It's funny, I feel like because of the way that the OR seasons go, I reckon I've almost driven this track more in mixed or wet conditions than I have in the dry. So I feel a bit lost here on dry, and it's interesting seeing those times down the low 140s, because I just feel like I'm never shooting for that on wets or in weird, mixed, wacky conditions. But look at all the cars go here. We got some really good times being posted up. No one cracking into the elusive 142s just yet, but we do know it's possible.
Zach Warren's getting a really bad run out of the chicane there, and unfortunately lost a couple of tenths. David Barker might be out of fuel RTG for that one. As we come back on board there with Breno Ellis. 43.2, doesn't he? Maybe that wasn't a valid lap, but that leaderboard unfortunately doing us dirty there with that one, but not improving on that lap. So whether it was valid or not 100% sure. But yeah, still trying to find a little bit more time there just to break out ahead of Aiden Squires.
Yeah, have a crack at the track limits as well that you can use here. You can just use all of that runoff into turn 1. There's so much curvature that you can take through through the final chicane here as well, and under the Repsol sign. Get how wide Breno is going and using all of that track. It's all about car placement and maximizing your angles through the corner here, which we absolutely love to see at a track like Barks. What a place. I really do have a bit of a soft spot for this track. I think it's a great little piece of tar, and just encourages some really interesting racing, but also some pretty big sendy kind of overtakes, particularly into this turn here. This one scares the living bejesus out of me.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a couple of people who would probably disagree with you on that one on the Barcelona stat, as we see Rob Underwood there pop up into P3 in silver class, only 4 tenths behind Aiden Squires, so that is a very strong lap as well. I'm not sure if Breno is actually valid here or not. We'll have to wait and see, but he might be a couple of tenths down on that one regardless. I think this track would be great if we just didn't have that final chicane. Unfortunately, that final chicane just ruins the flow of this track, and it's actually really hard to get any sort of move done down that straight because it is such a tricky corner to get a good run out of, especially once the tyres are hot. You get a lot of wheel spin, and yeah, as I found out last night up behind Benny Pintner there, you can't get a run, and then you can't get slipstream, and you can't overtake, and yeah, it definitely makes you work for it. And like you said, it does encourage some sort of big sense. Aiden Squires here. Hopefully this one is actually valid there. ACC leaderboard doing ACC things. Just losing a little bit of time there out of turn 5 as we break into turn 7. He's going to lose slightly more time again. It's about even as we come up to the run to turn 9 there. Dab of brakes, downshift, not in the Mustang because the gears are wonky as it is. Keeping a good apex speed there as we come down to turn 12, but it looks like he's just losing a little bit more time there. He is still ahead of Breno though, 0.005 of a second. There is but a sneeze between these two cars here tonight.
I reckon my sneezes take longer than a proper big old man sneeze, so I'm definitely sneezing longer than the gap between these two. But a key call out here is Underwood as well, silver class. You should be pushing up to pro now. Come on, this guy's so quick. Rob Underwood there, only 0.3 off the lead there. Just barely sneaking in. Anyway, Rob Underwood, stellar performance in previous weeks, and I don't think we're going to see anything too different here. I think he's looking pretty good in that Honda, making it work for him. He drove that at the Bathurst 12 hour, didn't he, as well?
He did. 0.3 off the lead. He's about to go very, very close to that, or what? I was going to say pop it up into P2 maybe, but I forgot that these two are so close. 1.5 tenths there behind P1 in silver class is a very, very strong showing for Rob Underwood. I mean, Underwood for Pro when, right?
I would love that. I would love to see Underwood push up. I think he's got the berries. He can give it the beans. We'd love to see that as we're on board with Barker, who's 0.1 up, but we've just switched over to back to Warren. 0.2 up through the final chicane. This is looking pretty good. Going to just sneak into the 43s if he can hold it here.
Yeah, we saw him lose a lot of time last time out on one of his fast flying laps, so he's going to hold it there, and he's going to go up to P6, just behind, a smidge behind Luca Giacomin there. Luca Giacomin I would expect to be a little bit further up, so I'm not sure if he's been stuck in traffic or he's had a bit of a slightly scruffy run of it so far. But these drivers are going to be starting their final flying lap there as Aiden Squire is trying once again, half a tenth up here as he gets to run through turn 9. He gains a little bit of time, but unfortunately loses on exit just slightly late to get back on the power. Super easy to do that in that corner to come into the heavy braking zone of turn 10. Spot your marker. A little bit awkward there with the trees. Try and find your mark. Don't run too deep. Try and get a good run out. Unfortunately, he just does exactly that. Super easy to do up through turn 12 here. This long right-hander. Kind of double apex. Kind of not really any apex. Hurts the left-hand side tires. Hurts the rear tires. We come into this final chicane. Tricky off-camber entry into the first part of the chicane. Hits the inside curb. Watch that one there. As we get through the tight left-right here. Get as close to these curbs as you dare without hitting them. You can run wide over this middle curb, especially on into the Mustang. To get to run through the final corner and full flat, hold it to the right hand side, and that is going to be pretty much dead even, and that is not going to improve there. What has what has Bruno Ellis got with that one? 0.05 even, as Jack Miller there just losing out a little bit of time through that last corner. Like I said, that apex of that run out of that final chicane is such a tricky corner. Does not improve by the slightest moment there. 3/1000ths of a second for Jack Miller. Luca Giacomin here up a 10th. He's going to need about that 10th just to pull up into P4 above Jack Miller there as he goes up 2/10 into turn 8. This Ferrari here should be loaded up pretty quick through this turn 9 hairpin. Drop down to 158 as we see that's a sad looking Porsche on the outside there. I think that is going to be Turab Bank in that Porsche there. Giacomin now 3/10 up into turn 10. Does he run deep? Does he get a good exit? Looks like he actually gets a pretty good exit there through that little turn 11 kink up to turn 12. That double apex just washing a little bit of speed off, gaining even more time. 4/10. He's looking like he's going to challenge the front row here.
This is really good coming to the final chicane. Gives that right curb a plenty healthy amount of room, but he's still picking up time. Look at that. He's almost picked up 0.1 in a turn. Coming out, running wide as he can, but can't take too much of that big yellow nonsense curb there. Just a little bit. He's getting 0.3, but this is going to shoot him up the list there with a 143.43 up into fourth spot. Giacomin has a gripe and has a bone to pick after last week, so looking to improve on his performance. As we just see the grid there, 35 cars for your late night OOR racing. How good is that? Love to see it. The stacked fields, dead game. Who's this? This is awesome.
Absolutely love to see that. 35 cars is an incredible turnout, and that means we're going to have 15 cars that's in our second qualifying session here later tonight. I believe we're going to get a bit of a grid walk here for you in just a moment as the second camera is going flying down the straight. We'll get that one up here for you in just a moment. So that run is going to be Aiden Squires on pole position there. Breno Ellis 0.005 behind there, ever so tight in the Audi. So we go for a very lovely cinematic walk down the grid here. Rob Underwood, shout out to Underwood there, silver class P3. One just over a 10th behind the top two there. Luca Giacomin in the red Ferrari there. You will not miss that one. Very, very bright red. McLaren there, I'm not sure exactly who that one is. Zach Warren there in the Porsche.
Yeah, my man Damo Mansell on the left there, looking bloody good in that BMW livery. We also went past the honorary Pidgey, Jack Miller, not an official affiliate driver, but does have the right colour scheme. My favourite little Fezzer there, I believe that's one of the Rosser boys. In that little Fezzer livery. It's such a great little undertone of colour. Milwaukee on the right-hand side. Couple of Kovacs boys here in the Polaroid moment. Speaking of Polaroid moment, mate, some of Cricky's photos that I've seen flying through from the Bathurst 12 hour last week, actually spectacular.
Yeah, I don't know how he does it. He just disappeared for about, I think, 10 hours of that race. I did not see him, and then he came back with 2 SD cards full of photos. So I thought I took a lot of photos. I think my phone was telling me I took 840 photos over the weekend.
Holy dooly.
But I can't compete with the boys there with the proper cameras. That's absolutely crazy, and he works his magic. I I don't understand. I can't compute, but he does a fantastic job with the photos as we're coming down. There's another Polaroid-looking Porsche there, matte black Mustang. I don't know if we're just missing a livery on that one. I think that is Sam O'Brien in the KA Mercedes. We've got a lovely GTR there. Damiano Thurcolini, oh, he is a long way back. We must have had a very rough run. I did not expect to see him back here.
He did have a pretty decent. He sort of had a bit of a terrible start in the LMU race just before, but managed to bring it back a fair way. So maybe he's just a little bit worn out as we go past Ryan Anderson in the 3M honorary livery celebrating the NASCAR legend. But we're back here towards the back of the grid. Some interesting names up the back here that we don't expect to see. I don't know who this Lambo is. Have we seen this one before? It's the Skill Issue Racing Lambo.
Yeah.
Biggie, we need to find out who's in that Lambo stats. So let me see. Oh, it's Dan Clark. Dan Clark's in a Lambo. Holy dooly. Go get it, son. Love to see the Lambo coming out. This is awesome. And then we've got Kiri there in the Porsche just in front of him. So pretty stacked grid, mate. 35 cars. Looking bloody good tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of big names towards the back there. Damiano Thurcolini and your man, Dave Stevo. A couple of pro cars right towards the back. So even if they don't, I'm sure they're going to work their way up through the field, but even if they don't, we've got to remember that there is a top 20 reverse grid. So that's something we're going to have to keep an eye out for throughout this race, is whoever finishes in sort of 20th and 19th, they're going to be the front runners for the very next race and make things nice and interesting.
Absolutely. And look, these races are a little bit nuts, but how good are they? I feel like these short 25-minute races, what they do is they bring some names forward that we may not usually see. This is the only time I've ever won in class was in one of these ones, and I'm the definition of a slow driver. So, I think what it does is it just allows some other names and other classes to creep into the spotlight a little bit, which is what we're all about. So this shakes things up. It's a bit of a, genie in the bottle kind of thing. You make a wish and just see what happens. And there's a little bit of hoping and praying as well that you don't fall victim to the carnage.
I think you're doing yourself a bit of discredit there with such a comment like that. But yeah, what this race kind of does is it removes any element of strategy. It removes the pit stops. It is an all-out proper sprint, a super sprint, if you will. It is a 25-minute dash to the line, flat out. No strategy, no nothing, just as fast as you can. As long as you've got enough fuel in the car and you've got your tyres which can cope. Speaking of tyres, we are very warm here today in Spain. And that turn 3 absolutely kills your left-hand side tyres, as well as turn 9 and turn 12. All of the long corners there are right-handers, and they're going to be killing those left side tyres. So these drivers here, hopefully they've opened up their brake ducts a little bit more, try and cool those tyres down, because they are going to be screaming probably north of 100 degrees if they haven't done that. I know the Mustang struggles with opening his brake ducts. Squires was telling me before that he is running brake duct 6, and he is still pushing over 100 degrees on the left-hand side tyres.
Yeah, going to bring some interesting moments in, I think, as we get ever so close now. The circuit to Barcelona. Look at that. I do love when we have these big, massive track signs there that are usually visible from the wonderful helicopter views that we do get in real-life racing. So it's excellent that ACC offers us these incredible camera angles as we see the rear of the field getting brought up there. Swerving does nothing to warm your tyres in this game, but it does look cool for the cameras. So massive thank you to Thermaltake for putting on your sprint series tonight. Huge thanks to Biggie Higgy for giving us a coverage. Hamo, take us through race start.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to come along side by side down at the main straight there. Just getting a bit of freezing here on our end. I'm not sure if we're seeing that one there. We have Aiden Squires, Breno Ellis, Rob Underwood, Luke Giacomo. It's going to be a stacked grid towards the front there, waiting for the lights to go green. They're going to go green early here. The Audi should get the jump on the Mustang. Mustang very long gearing, and we are green. That is Zach Warren. They're looking towards the outside. We're going to go 3, nearly 4 wide already. That is the Audi. They're getting the run on Aiden Squires. We're 4, nearly 5 wide behind us. Is going to end that if they're not careful. As there is the Audi there trying to go around the outside of Zach. Of Aiden Squires there. We're 3 wide. It's clean. That is the Mustang of Aiden Squires with the jump. We're 3 wide. Yeah, everyone hangs on to it, but looks a little bit of a bump. A couple of cars get turned right towards the end there. Giacomo looks like he's lost out a couple of spots. He's right behind Damien Mansell, so he's lost out big time in that one. He's probably down towards P5, P6. Watch the inside. A little bit of a touch there. There is no room there. He's getting a massive squeeze from Mansell. We are half a lap in, and I'm already run out of breath. 3 wide further behind there into turn 5. Watching the inside, we are clean enough through there. let the stewards review what happened further back. There's a very bright red Porsche further back. So there's a couple of big movers up towards the front, or say down towards the front. Luka Chico, it looks like he's back towards the bottom of the top 10. He has had a horrible run back in P8 with David Barker.
Rob Underwood manages to hold it. What a catch. We'll put that man in the slips. That's an unbelievable catch. Did you see? I swear I saw Breno flashing Squires off the start. Maybe watching a bit too much of the Bathurst last week. That's an interesting move, so there might be a report incoming. But Squires did manage to keep it off the start there, Loopty, in the chat. Squires kept it. He absolutely did. What an incredible start from some of these guys. But yeah, well, look, Giacomo managing to keep it now. It looks like he's actually sitting there in the top 4. Has jumped up a little bit after Mansell slid out just a touch before earlier. I think it was turn 4. He sort of just stepped out a little bit. But we're on the back now, looking outside of Aiden Squires' car onto Breno Ellis, who is behind him. Will be a little bit furious, I think, to be starting behind Squires here, but manages to keep it. The Logitech Audi taking a little bit too much curb there out of turn 2, but getting a little bit of a good jump there on the Ford Mustang. Typically, those front-engine cars, I think, do quite well in this first sector. But Breno, arguing the point in his mid-engine Audi, making it look easy to drive here. Getting really close now to the back of Squires, who's definitely feeling the pressure, looking out that rear vision mirror. Super hard not to drive more behind you than in front of you when you've got someone like that chasing you down. But Squires managing to hold it well. Just looking for a little bit of room, a little bit of just time to breathe here. But it's been such a short race. We've got 22 minutes and 20 seconds to go now. So looking to hold a bit of it. Let's have a look down through the leaderboard now. Your top 10's rounded out by Johnson now. Off the start here, let's have a look. I can't quite tell who we're on board with, Biggie, but we're seeing here on the... this is the... Yeah, that's the spin up the back.
Yeah, a couple of cars just trying to take the same piece of track there. Unfortunately, has not worked out. I'm not sure exactly who that one was there, but yeah, I think that's just some typical turn 1 stuff, especially through the sort of right-left chicane that you've got there, turns 1, turns 2. I believe these corners have some name. I think that turn 1 is called Elf.
It is, yeah.
I think most of them are sponsor names by the looks of things, but yeah, that is corporate racetrack for you. Getting a bit of deja vu here from last night with the top 2 pulling out over a second already of the first lap. Was going to get another replay here, going 3 wide up towards turn 4, just a bit of a bump. Oh, Damiano getting sent around there. More touching, more spins.
Oh no, look at this.
Oh my goodness me. That
is...
that's a... Yeah, okay. That Lambo there that was, I've forgotten the name already.
That was Dan Clark. Dan Clark in a Lambo.
Just pulling up there with nowhere to go, losing out a bit of time there. This is going to be an interesting battle up the front because I'm assuming it's going to be similar to what we had last night with the Aston Martin and the McLaren there. The Aston Martin and the front engine car pulling away in the first and the third sector, and the mid-engine car there of the Audi probably going to be quicker through the middle sector, but you can't really pass through the middle sector, and that Mustang is absolutely going to have the legs on the Audi down a straight line. So Breno's going to have to hold his time, be patient, wait for Aiden, as silly as this sounds, to make a mistake and see if he can get away past. But yeah, 4/10 back, and it's really hard at the circuit to actually pull a gap and hard to follow as well. So we'll see how that gap sort of moves throughout this next 20 minutes here, but I suspect it will stay pretty stable. But Breno's going to struggle to try and get much closer than that.
Yeah, fair few ambiguous braking markers here, and there's a lot of feelsy kind of tip in, turn in points at Barcelona. So that's, for me anyway, that's what makes it really hard to follow other cars quite closely, because you sort of feel like they're gonna use the exact same marker that I am. It's not a real clear-cut track like many others. So even looking here, there's that big tree on the right that you kind of want to brake at, as we're on board here with Jack Miller, looking for anywhere around Zach Warren, but Warren managing to hold it strong in the Porsche. Coming into, I do love this section of track, but a lot of throttle control needed around this long right-hander. I believe this right-hander is called Bunk Sabadell, I think. I'm trying to think back. Dave Stevo gave me a walkthrough of this track. Oh, it feels like a year ago now, but incredible little piece of track. A lot of throttle control needed just to feather it around there. You don't want to give it too much boot because you'll just completely slide out. But if you miss it, you sacrifice so much lap time here. But Jack Miller now on the tail of it. I think we've just had a fastest lap set by Breno Ellis, but we've got a dead heat for fastest lap, which we hardly ever see. How can
you never see it? Never actually happens.
Should have put that on my bingo card for tonight. Holy cow.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like Giacomo there was pretty racy on the back of Rob Underwood in the Honda, but unfortunately did not find a way past that Honda, holding its own on the straight line. Yeah, like you said, there is a few corners here where you don't really have a proper braking mark. You're kind of just judging it around some other spots. So we're going to get a replay here. I think this is on board with Rob Underwood and Luca Giacomo behind there through the turn 9. Oh, big on the curb. Bit of a touch there, but he did very well to hold on to that one. David Barker's trying to go 3 wide into the turn 10 hairpin. And we go 3 wide, and I believe these guys did manage to hold it pretty clean, which is amazing to do. Barker goes around the outside of both of them. That is absolutely incredible, trying to go side by side through T11, which is not going to work. As you were saying there, Jack Miller right up behind Zach Warren. I think he's closed in a little bit on this lap, and that is still Giacomo right on the bumper of Rob Underwood, given that mistake he made before, and he's going to want to be looking for a way past there as well.
Yeah, have a go at the jump as well that Breno and Aiden have got out there now. They are 3.2 seconds ahead of Zach Warren and the battling Jack Miller now, as we see going up the inside. Giacomo looking for a way around Honda there of Rob Underwood, but Honda gets a bit too good of a drive out. Incredible car off the start, just a bit squirrely to control. Rob Underwood feeling everything that we know to be true about the Honda, which is that it is not a friendly car. Very difficult to control around here, but doing a really bloody good job of holding it together so far, but is under a lot of pressure as a silver driver from the 2 pros behind him. Aiden Squire's fastest lap, 143.4, only would less than 2 tenths off his quali time.
Yeah, very quick time from Squires there. The Honda, yeah, very tricky car to drive, but if you can hang on to it, it is absolutely really, really fast, especially getting out of corners compared to something like the Ferrari with a lot of turbo lag. That is going to hamper Giacomo trying to get past Rob Underwood. So he's going to have a work cut out for him. There's not going to be too much of a difference between these cars. The Honda's probably going to be quicker than the Ferrari through some of these longer corners as well. But yeah, he's going to sit right on the back of Rob Underwood and probably just wait for a mistake. We've seen him had a few moments. Oh, as he runs a little bit wide there into turn 5, but that's still not going to allow him past. He's going to need something a little bit bigger than that. The Ferrari not going to have the legs to get past in there, but Giacomo is going to be probably going to be keen to try and move back up the field there, considering he started on P4 and just had a horrible start. I'm not sure exactly what happened to him at the start. Whether we can get some miles on that one, please, Mr. Hignett. But yeah, not desirable for Giacomo at all.
No. And answering in the chat, yeah, Lupti, we did have double purple, but Aiden had the audacity to go and set a faster lap. We almost had it. Looking down through the list, top 10 rounded out by Callum Rossler, nonetheless, in the Fezzer as well. Just behind, we got Roy Ankin up there, Johnson, Giacomo, Underwood, Mateen, Miller, Warren, Breno, Breno Ellis, I should say, and Squires rounding out your top 10. We're going to get a bit of a replay of the race start here. This is what we're watching here. 4 wide at Barcelona. It just demands it, doesn't it? This track has so much room until you lose it all running into turn 1.
Yeah, Giacomo there on the outside. Ooh, looks like he just gets a bit of a touch. He is sent all the way around the outside of turn 1. And yeah, I think that 4 wide moment, I'd say he probably came out towards the back of that, which explains why he ended up so far back in that one. The crazy thing is this is even the reverse grid race. This isn't the normal race. They qualified in those positions and the cars had that sort of run. So I guess that's a bit of a setup for the race here later tonight. So do not go anywhere. That one is going to be one you're going to want to watch.
Yeah, so that'll be a buckle up and maybe put your own bingo items in at home and all sit back and it's sort of one of those things you want to cover your eyes, but it is going to be a bit of a train wreck, perhaps. So, you can't look away. But we are on board now with Underwood, who has gained just a touch there on the car of Mateen in front, sitting much, much closer than what we saw before, all the while battling the advances of Giacomo from behind. Giacomo's buying him flowers, and Underwood's saying, no, thank you. I'm more focused on the tail of the one in front, Mateen's Macca. How good's that? So we've got, have a go at the manufacturer. Whoa, he pushes him wide.
And that is Mateen off into the gravel there through turn 7. We'll have to get the stewards to have a look at that one and see where that contact was made. It looks like sort of 2 cars into one.
Underwood,
big sliding managed to hold it, but that is going to let Giacomo look towards the outside down the straight coming into turn 10, but he's going to have to hold it around the outside of turn 10, which is not going to be easy to do. Rob Underwood is going to defend that one. A little bit of a bump, just escorts him wide. Well done to Rolf, not only catching that slide without the Honda snapping on him, but also managing to hold position. There's Giacomo. It's really close, and he touches the back of him and sends him round, turns him back the right way, but yeah, I'm glad I'm not going to have to steward that one.
Yeah, this is, the old thing, the old adage, if you can't beat them, bully them. A bit of that going on here tonight as Underwood sends a couple of cars, Mateen particularly, just running out of track there, hogging the road as is entitled to do so. But at least we saw Giacomo give him a little bit of a straighty 180 straighten up there as he drove off. But we are back on board now with your two leaders here tonight. Thermaltake Sprint Series. We've got Breno Ellis chasing down the Ford Mustang of Aidan Squires, only 3.89 behind the leader there of the 67 Mustang. No kangaroos here, so at least we should see the Mustang make it to the end of the race. But this is where we're going to get a good replay here. Underwood just tapping Mateen there. Yeah, there was a car with there. Again, we're going to leave that one to the stewards, but Mateen managing to survive it, not putting it in a wall, just having a little bit of a muck around in the sandpit.
Yeah, it was very, very tight there between the two of them. We'll see how that one goes. But as I kind of alluded to at the start of the race, this gap has not really changed. It sort of stayed about 3-4 tenths, and I reckon that Breno's just having a hard time getting ahead of him here. As the Honda just touched that inside curb, you don't want to do that. Even the Aston, massive slide. Very well done to hang on to that one. He's going to try and send Giacomo around the outside, and we kind of know how this one works. You're not going to find, you're going to have to get up pretty early, try and outbrake someone and get around there through turn 10 hairpin. Going to put Luca Giacomo back towards the behind him. Rob Underwood trying to just hold his position there and just, I'm not sure if he gets a bit of a slide or has to have a bit of a lift that Giacomo wasn't expecting there, but unfortunately just gives him a bit of a tap and sends him round, but does the right thing and does correct him back again from plummeting down the bottom of the field.
It can also be one of those things where you just understeer a little bit wide and then you end up giving the nudge to the car in front, right? Very, very easy to do, particularly on those high-speed corners. But we've got these two chasing down. The gap is ever so slowly decreasing by 0.004 of a second this last lap. Great little toe here for Breno in the Audi. Not close enough to make a move, but just, living in the mirror there, having a sniff of the exhaust, checking out under the wing, seeing if he's got anything interesting going on. The Audi seeming to perform much, much better than the Honda over those curbs. Every time we've seen Underwood clip that inside curb, whether it's sort of, turn 3 has been particularly bad, turn 4, turn 7, and then I think the turn just before, I'm losing track of my numbers, but the turn just before the double chicane, it just seems to really upset the Honda, more so than every other car on the grid tonight.
But yeah, that is the Honda in a nutshell, pretty much. It does not like curbs. It has a lot of speed, but you've got to kind of stay away from the big bumpy things. It does not like those whatsoever. Breno Ellis there, just moving that gap out to 4 tenths, but he's probably always going to let it move out. But he's not really, the trouble is he's not really close enough for a slipstream. You can't really get a run out of the final chicane. It's just such an awkward corner to get another replay here. I think that is Damien Mansell here behind David Barker into turn 10, trying to look up the inside towards the kink there of turn 11. Is he up the inside far enough? He is, and there's a bump, and somehow
Mansell's off. My boy.
Yeah,
no,
we'll have to see whether there was enough room given in that one. It's a little bit of an awkward kink to get through side by side. It can be better if the cars are closer, but yeah, Damien was sort of all the way to the left and the inside, and David Barker maybe thought he had a bit of clear track and tried to swoop in and take the apex, so we'll leave that one to the stewards there. Rob Underwood back in P6 with Carl Johnson there up behind.
Yeah, astute listener and watcher tonight, Jaden Rondinella, has just written into the chat, letting us know that, the Audi isn't seeming to suffer from the dirty air of the Mustang as much as some other cars, particularly in my experience. The Macca is, it's not so great in the dirty air, but the Audi seems not too affected by that aero wash. Either that, or it's just down to the talent, the raw talent and ability of Breno Ellis here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the dirty air is definitely prominent through this track. So you see the Audi going really deep into that turn 5 hairpin. The corner you can absolutely take it really deep into, but you're going to watch that exit. You run too wide off that exit curb and you're going to end up on the grass. You're going to end up with pressure loss. It's going to bounce. It's going to do all sorts of horrible things. But yeah, Breno's going to start getting a little bit impatient here. He's just probably sick of staring at the back of that Mustang, I suspect, and he won't want to put up with that for very much longer. At least should it finish this way coming up to the next race, he should start ahead of that one. Hopefully he can get the jump, but yeah, this is going to be tough. That Mustang taking the inside curb and not getting any slides is impressive to see. Even something like the Aston Martin doesn't really like that inside curb wheel slide. You can kind of use it to get a bit of rotation out of the car if it's getting too much understeer, just get up on that curb, but that is not what it's doing for the Honda. So I think Rob Underwood is sideways yet again through turn 9. Really want to try and steer clear of that one, that inside curve, maybe treat it like the hind legs of a donkey.
Well put. Very well put. We've got a couple of Pro-Ams actually creeping in the top 10 here as well. We've got Roy Ankin and Callum Rosser there as well. I don't know how much longer Roy Ankin's Pro-Am in ACC for. He is blindingly quick and demonstrating it here tonight. A couple of really close gaps there too that we'll revisit, but we are going to have a look at this little replay. Mustang up the inside, that Matt Black. Oh, no. Oh, that's a bit of a shunt wide. Interesting maneuver, and then Ryan Anderson comes in and spins in for his trouble. No good. That's, just... Oh, God. It's
just a little bit of awkward ACC. Yeah, just awkward ACC collisions there. Just the tiniest of touches kind of sent one car left and one car right, and unfortunately has just put the Porsche into a bit of a spin. As we see Carl Johnson right at the back of Rob Underwood now. The battle is on for P6. This is silver class versus Pro-Am as well, so Rob Underwood definitely holding his own, but Jack Miller also P4 is where we are for the lead of silver class, doing a very nice job up towards the front, moving back towards the back of the field a little bit more here, sort of actually midfield. Yeah, Pete Chalmers on that is Charados there, the number 9 on the 78, around the outside there onto turn 5.
Whoa,
just has a bit of a...
Pete having a back out there, it looks like, to give a little bit of way to Charados as he just surges through in the Porsche. No, sorry, Pete Chalmers has got the move done on Charados. ACC's kind of doing us dirty.
Yeah, absolutely. That looked a little bit strange there, kind of holding around the outside of turn 5 and then either got a bit of a slide and had to lift or just decided to give him the position there. It wasn't worth fighting. I don't know why you wouldn't be worth fighting with 8 minutes left in this race, but yeah, well, he's obviously got some bigger goals in mind there that we're not seeing here from the comfort of our chairs in the commentary booth. As we see Callum Russell look towards the outside, very deep under brakes of the McLaren there of Roy Ankin. That is going to be absolutely no way past there. He's also got CMM behind his. He's going to have to be careful he doesn't drop another position there. I think that one is held, but yeah, easy to outbrake yourself there, as you kind of alluded to before, looking for a tree there before the 100-meter board. But it's kind of an awkward corner. You can take some different lines into there. Another corner here you can get a bit wide into and sort of try and get a run out of the chicane. It looks like he's close. We're kind of almost getting a bit of a train here, as this is the fight for P9. So right towards the back of the top 10, the Ferrari of Rosser right behind Ankin. Is he going to be close enough? He is 2.5 tenths back, so he was a tenth behind before. Is he going to be close enough? He's not really going to get much of a run out of that final corner. The Ferrari with top speed over the McLaren. He's going to have a look towards the inside. Is he going to dive? He's going to just awkwardly hold it there. He gives him the room, but Callum Rosser there decides to better of it and just to live to fight another day. But it's not done yet. Oh, he gets really close through turn 3. Nowhere to go there. You cannot pass through there. He's going to try and run really wide. Look towards the outside. Is he going to go for another dive? I think he might towards the outside of turn 5. Around the outside. Really close racing between these two. Gets a little bit of slide. The McLaren was sideways as well with wheel spin. And you've got CMM right behind here as well, CMM even, as that is Rosser towards the inside, turn 5, just a little bit of a... Oh, there's a bit of bumping and grinding behind, I think. Where's the Ferrari? There he is. Oh, this is a very tight battle. Good racing by these two, but it's not over yet. CMM dropping behind the other Rosser there. I think that's Mike Rosser in the BMW. Losing a couple of spots there, going from P10 right back to... Oh, yeah, losing a couple of spots in that one. Oh, yeah, he's about wide still.
Ooh, gee whiz. Those two have been racing together, particularly Roy Ankin and Callum Rosser there, have been racing together since the academy days. Over a year ago now, pretty much, these two started battling, and they're showing it all tonight, bearing witness. We are looking here, we're on board CMM, who's just sort of been witnessing this battle, looking for any movement past, but did drop a position there to Mike Rosser, as you mentioned. These two relatives, the Rosser boys, still don't know if they're brothers, cousins, father, son. We just don't know, but they're two unbelievably quick operators. So we're seeing him chasing them down, looking for any room to get through, but Rosser too good at the moment. Roy Ankin losing a little bit to Callum there, though. Tough little spot. Roy had to take such a defensive lap there. Pretty much every corner he was mid-track trying to hold position. And then Rosser actually ended up getting the better of him on the outside. Really, really stylish racing too.
Yeah, it's a very close racing from those guys there, and CMM was kind of had to be careful there. He's sort of in the middle of a train, so if he wasn't careful, he's going to get done from behind, he's going to get done from in front, he's going to be dropping position. So I think that he's probably glad, he's breathing a sigh of relief now. That train is separated a little bit there, and he can just focus on the car ahead. Speaking of the cars ahead, that is Bruno Ellis still 3 tenths behind the Mustang of Ada Squires, still has not found a way through, and like we kind of said earlier, that Mustang taking a lot of inside curve is very much okay with that. The Audi kind of getting a little bit of an awkward slide there, that slowly lazy drift through turn 9. That rotation is going to give that Audi some pace if he can hang on to it, which Breno absolutely can do. Both of them a little bit wide into turn 10. He's not getting close enough to get a slipstream, and that Mustang, as we kind of know very well, infamously, is very, very quick in a straight line. So Breno is going to struggle to find a way past here as we're back on board with Carl Johnson right behind Rob Underwood.
Yeah, have a go at Rob Underwood, still here battling, but has dropped a few positions there as we see a bit of a squirrely move out of the corner there from Johnson. Just those rear tyres starting to let go of it. Oh, as we see it again, he's almost sideways coming through this double right-hander of the Europe car. Little corner there, but, you know, managing to hold on to it. The Porsche looking a little bit more squirrely than usual there. Johnson's normally a pretty smooth, pretty slick operator, but he's just, something's up with that car. I wonder if we've got some pressure loss, or maybe the PSIs on those tyres. This ACC is, you know, one of the lead ways to stay connected to the road. PSIs are so important to get right, so I can't help but feel that something's going on there. Either that, or he's just pushing the bejesus out of the car, Hamo.
Yeah, absolutely. There's all sorts of stuff going on here. This car's moving every which way. Either he's not running much wing, or got a bit of damage in the rear, which the Porsche will absolutely not like. Speaking of trains, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, less than an 8-car train here towards the back of the top 10. Just looking at the timing towers, a few red boxes next to a few of these drivers' names there. So Giacomo got a 15-second penalty. We can only assume that was the bump on Rob Underwood there that sent him around. Callan Ross with a 5 seconds, and a couple of incidents back with Justman. Damien Mansell back in 26th position. What has happened there? He's had an absolute nightmare.
That spin, he ended up backwards and then took the safe option on the rejoin. So we'll be way back in this grid, hoping to do better in the next one. But he's back there with his buddy Dave Stevo in the 100 Aston there too. Little tight battle pack forming there. Only, you know, 0.2 between Mansell and Gallagher, and then 0.5 between Stevo just behind them too. But it, you know, it's certainly... It sounds closer than what it is, but have a go at this. So Mansell, I think he started inside the top 10 and has dropped all the way back, as you said, to 26, but we've still got 34 cars in the race. Really, really strong grid here. 2 minutes, 38 seconds left as these guys fight it out. Battling for 25th is Gallagher, defending now against these two very fast, very, very smooth operators. It's interesting to see Davo up in the pro class. Definitely a Pro-Am driver, but has been pushed up in this race, so he'll be suffering emotionally from that one.
He's absolutely been given the big boot up to the pro class, even the big dogs, and unfortunately has not quite worked out with that one. Speaking of big things, I think Ryan Anderson has been hit with the big stick there. 25 seconds of penalties towards his name. So being involved in a little bit of incidents there, not exactly what you want. And fortunately, he's too far back there for the reverse grid pole position. Currently, we're looking at the AM class of Justman, although he's got some penalties as well. So that might very well push Brickley up into reverse grid pole there in the GTR. And that might be Turab, Bank, Pete Viney. So there's a couple of quick operators towards the start there. So these guys are going to be looking forward to this next race and see if they can run away. Speaking of running away, we can absolutely assure you there is still plenty of gap there. Oh, it's Damien Mansell getting a slipstream there on the Mustang of Gallagher. But you've still got Stevo there behind in the Aston Martin, so it's not over yet. That is going to be down the inside. Is there enough of a gap? He has a look, but there is no room, no room there to get through. The Aston Martin of Stevo there is going to be having a look towards the BMW of Mansell too. So speaking of the front,
no! What's going on here? Breno's at the inside. He should concede that. Nope, he's going to stay in. Hang on, settle down, boys. Calm it down. You've still got a minute left. There we go. That's a little bit of a redress. Let's go from there. We'll start it over. A bit of interesting move from Mansell down the straight there. It did look like he actually pulled out a lot earlier than what he needed to. Could have stayed in that draft for a lot longer, right?
I reckon he might have got caught out maybe with some rubber banding the way he pulled out. Looks like he pulled out an absolute mad panic out of that slipstream. He wouldn't normally do that. As oh my god, that is Breno with a massive
dive down the inside.
And, that is a bit of contact as well. It's quite a large amount of contact, so there's going to be a little bit of side damage on those cars. But Breno just doing the right thing there to redress. But yeah, like I kind of said, I might be getting a little bit desperate there as we come around to what will be the last lap, and he's still about 3-4 tenths behind that Mustang. That gap has stayed the same this whole race. Breno absolutely has the speed over Ada, but he just cannot find a way past. He's going to be using the speed token. It's very far out wide there. Come back onto the track. But yeah, cannot get away past, and he is going to be very hot-headed now into that one.
Yeah, too right. Bit of a desperate dive. That's going to be... it's really tough because I get it. The pressure's there. You're trying to make a move, just trying to make something happen, but did not pull up in time. As we're now on board, looking under the rear wing of Zach Warren, defending still 25 minutes on to Jack Miller behind him in the Macca. Iconic colours for Jackie Miller here. But no way around there for Millsy. We've got Johnson battling here now with Underwood. Can't find a way around. He's still looking so squirmy in that Kodak moment. The Porsche there. Sorry, that's the Polaroid moment. This one, I'm getting all my cameras mixed up. But here, look at how much Carl's moving around the track. This is insane. Carl's just, I don't know. There's got to be something wrong there, Hamo. I'm not really quite sure, but Carl's, he's normally pretty slick and smooth. This is a bit odd of him.
That car does not look comfortable at all, and that is going to invite Mateen there towards the outside of turn 10. Johnson goes defensive. He might run a bit deep and see if we can get a cut back there from Mateen. The Porsche is quite good. That is Mateen out very wide there, using another speed token as we're going to cut back towards the leaders there. Breno Ellis has not found a way through. He's actually dropped back to half a second or so, so I think he has been pushing very hard, probably a little bit too much there to try and catch it. And that is going to be Aiden Squires taking out your race victory there. And that is a gap of, what have we got, like 8 seconds almost?
So sorry, I thought Mateen was going to throw it to the inside of the chicane there. The heart stopped for a sec there, but we are on with Mateen now, looking for any last second move he can find, but nothing to be done there. Need to hear from someone. Yeah, maybe Aero Wash, says Rushy in the chat, but I don't know, it's so squirrely. It almost looked at times when he was under acceleration, it was just like he had zero TC on. We got Justman here finishing 16th. Pretty good performance from him. I think he's moved up quite a bit. Turu Bank there in the Porsche sailing through, finishing 20th. So not a bad option, and will be very... is it the top 15, Hamo, that's reversing, or the top 20?
We've got top 20 here. So a couple of drivers, pro drivers, I think, that are further back than that. That is not what they're going to be looking for as we're coming back. P30, the fact that we've got over 30 cars there. Ryan Essen cops a DT. I'm not sure if that one, I believe that's going to be track limits there. I don't know if he got involved in any more incidents, but yeah, track limits at 25 minute races. He's not happy with his drive tonight, and I think I can understand why.
Yeah, that's an expensive write-off there.
Yeah.
No good. I'm sick of seeing AMGs crash.
I was about to say the same thing. I've seen enough bad AMGs for a week.
Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, pretty decent race. Not too bad. We had Barks, Loopty coming in with not a bad race. It's almost exactly the same time that I said it. So, yeah, interesting little, we had a couple of decent moves there, but I think I was super impressed off the, I was super impressed off the start. This just encourages everybody to go 4 wide, because that main straight is so wide, and then you've got that really narrow, or it feels narrow under that kind of speed, right-hander of Elf. Just ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. And if that wasn't crazy enough, we're going to have the top 20 cars, the fastest drivers at the back. So the two drivers you saw just absolutely run away from the rest of the field. They're pulling 8 seconds in 25 minutes. They're going to be starting, I was going to say towards the back, but it's almost midfield here in split red. But yeah, so we are going to probably see cars 4, do I dare say 5 wide? You said cars are going to go 2 wide. I think you should have written 5 wide there for your bingo card. It's going to be absolute carnage, but now we've got an 8-minute qualifying session, so there is not a lot of time for these drivers here. So it's going to be 15 cars, I want to say, who are going to get another couple of laps here to try and set the back half of this grid. And for the other 20 drivers, this is just a chance for them to sit back, relax, grab a beer or maybe something non-alcoholic there, as we do not encourage drinking and driving whatsoever. Just a chance for them to have a breather, have a moment, and sort of recollect their thoughts.
Yeah, for sure. It's you never know where you want to be in these sort of secondary races where you've got that reverse grid. You sort of, if you end up being mid-pack, you kind of can profit at the start. But the tricky thing is, particularly as, one of the lower class drivers, it's really scary. You're essentially dealing with these blue flags off the start, and all you see is the names of the drivers that you've idolized for the last 6 months to a year surging up behind you right off the race start, and it's a little bit scary.
Yeah, I went 3 wide. I did send it 3 wide on more than a few occasions on race start yesterday for the second race start, starting P20 myself. So I know what it's like in terms of cutting through the field, so we'll see if we can see a repeat from the top two here of what happened last night. But yeah, I'm just going to give a shout out to our stewards preemptively in this one, because last night we had 11 post-race penalties. I think in the first 13 minutes or so there was 17 penalty calls. So if you're not familiar with how we do this for the stewarding, all the drivers are sitting in a VC and you need to call your number out if you're involved in an incident. There were 17 numbers that were called out, and they still had probably over half of the race to go. So they decided no more penalties on the live race. We're going to have to look at all these later, and that ended up being 11 penalties issued after the race. So the fact that there's another 15 or about 10 cars or so extra compared to what we had last night, yeah, you're gonna want to grab a cold one and strap yourselves in for this next race.
Yeah, two riders. We're on board with Ryan Anderson, getting a little bit slippery in the AMG there. It's interesting. I drive in 540 lock. It's an old JC trick that I was put onto. But it's funny watching on board with those that drive at a 900 lock, which I assume Ryan Anderson does, just how much hand action is going on here mid-corner. He's 90 degrees up and down. So much movement, but so much control. Such a talented driver is Dog Ryan here as he comes through, about to go into this long right-hander. Keep an eye on those revs, the throttle control, as he just edges it so slowly, ever so carefully, trying to hug that curb. Yeah, a little bit slippery. Holy dooly. It's the track temperature. I haven't looked at this in the last 10 minutes. Look up the top right, Hamo. It's 33 degrees on the track.
Yeah, I did just see Ryan, as you mentioned that, as we watched him have that big slide, he swapped up this TC from TC1 to TC2, so I think he's trying to take liberties a little bit too much there. We've only got 4 minutes left in the session, so we're halfway through. It's another 2, maybe 3 laps for these drivers, as we see Ryan is saying go to the front with a 45.7. Definitely probably a second or so in that lap time for him there. We saw him have a couple of big moments to flash of the lights there from Ryan. Don't know if he's watching or not, or whether he should be focusing on his driving, but yeah, we'll see how this one works out. So we are now on board with David Stevenson here. I'm not sure exactly what the lap times are looking like. We've just got the different broadcasting HUD on at the moment. We'll see if we get some lap times up for you there in a second. And some deltas for these drivers. There we are. Thank you very much, Ben. Alex Keary there with the bright red Porsche. Currently, I want to say down in P19, but that's not how this works yet, because these guys haven't actually set a flying lap and we're halfway through the session.
Let's click on Thurks there, 144.73. Not a little bad one there. We got Kiri, pretty quick operator there, and is demonstrating as such, only 0.4 behind Thurks. Not bad for a Pro-Am car. You'd be pretty happy with that. Hell, I'd be happy with that. We got Mansell here. He was a bit gypped in that first race. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do in this second. I think these reverse grid races, particularly for the faster boys, Hammer, you just need so much patience. You need to be really careful, pick your moments. It's almost like a multi-class race, right? Where you've got these fast cars screaming through. You got to really pick your moments for those overtakes. Be super careful and try and avoid taking anyone out.
Is how you should do it. Is that how I drove last night? Well, it was more like if gap car. We're going 3 wide. Okay, there's a gap. I'm going to break into that one and hope for the best. But yeah, I had to do it to make sure Loopty couldn't pass me.
Yeah, too right. Yeah, that's you got to hold Loopty at bay. We can't let him win everything, right? I think Loopty practices more on this than absolutely anyone else. You know, we're doing well. We're watching Dave Stevo there as I tick a secret item off my off my little list there. Well played, well played. That was one of my bingo items. Somebody gives me a call here while we're sitting in the commentary booth, and none other than Liam Hamilton came up on my phone. It was very curious.
I don't know how he did that.
That's so weird. I don't know. Men can't multitask. What are we doing? So we see we see Gosling here. Gozzy coming up. Car 833, the Aston. Not a bad little lap there. Not moving too far up the pack. We got Scotty Rochford sitting in third as well. Thurks there in fourth. Ryan Anderson, Keary, Perkins, O'Brien, and Neighbour rounding out your top 10.
Spots here as he goes up P5 there, 6/10 away from P1. Who's that P1? That is none other than Damien
Mansell.
44.2. That is a pretty solid time for him there. And silver class, Dave Stevo, I think. Either he's been given the Pro-Am boot, the Pro boot way too early, or he's got a couple of tenths locked away in there.
I'll tell you what, look at him go. Dave Stevo, only 0.3 behind, has not been driving much ACC, is basically doing the old arrive and drive at the moment. And he's 0.28 up, only needs 0.37. That's wide. I think that might be invalid. Yeah, invalid. no good. Davo locks up the fronts on the dirt there as he pulls to a stop, was chasing down Mansell. I don't think these guys are in the same VC at the moment, but they would undoubtedly be giggling with utter joy as they try and track each other down, starting very close in this second race here.
Yeah, absolutely. Brad Gosling there, almost a second up on this lap, so that is going to put him up a couple of spots and hopefully put him into, well, I would say the top 10, but that's still going to be starting sort of back towards P27, P28. So, yeah, don't forget that this is not for pole position on the grid. This is for 21st and back. So these guys, it looks like they're going to be at the front. Unfortunately, they are still going to be a fair way back and will have a lot of work to do. But as we've seen time and time again, these reverse grid races, there's going to be absolute carnage. There's going to be some fast guys mixed in with the slower drivers. Everyone here is still really fast. But yeah, we're going to have some carnage as Brad Gosling there crosses the line into the last corner, and that goes P7, and he's going to be the first to finish his laps. Damiano Thurcolini, not a driver expected to be in this second qualifying session, goes to P2, 2/10 off of Damian Mansell there. Who is no doubt on a flying lap and going to be going faster. Gallagher there, I think we're on board with. No, yes, we are in the Mustang. 4/10 up, just gets a little bit of slide out of that last chicane through the final corner. Full flat, right-hander. 3/10 up. That's going to put him a couple of spots into P3. So that'll be starting P24 for this race. So we've got a name. I don't know if you recognize this name there. I think that's Ziva or Zeva. There's another new one there so far. It's going to be P11. Damian Mansell goes even faster with a 43.9.
That's a good effort cracking into the 43.9s in this temperature in this second race here as well. I did just have a call then from Dave Stevo arguing and yelling the point as to why he's pro tonight. I promised him that we'll revisit that, but I did mention that we've booted you up for reasons known to the administration. So
he just wants something to complain about, right?
yeah, that's why he calls me. We've got Saya saying hi, absolute cinema. I think, is that Layla Bell? I'm not sure. I'm not quite sure your username, but yes, absolutely. G'day, Layla. Yeah, absolute cinema about to take place here tonight for our second race. O'Brien as well, sneaking up there into the top 10. Dan Clark, not a bad little lap here, but he's a second down. Impressive that he's driving this new car, not used to driving mid-engines, more of a front-engine guy, but doing really well there to put down a bit of a lap there. Rolling into 13th, we'll be back at the grid.
Yeah, that's going to be a big change for him going from front end to something like the Lamborghini as well. They'll handle well, doesn't have a lot of straight line speed, but it's such a different driving style compared to something with a front engine. So, yeah, big change and big adjustment if you're not used to it, especially if you haven't done a lot of practice. So, a couple seconds behind, probably not quite where he would have wanted to be, but yeah, we'll see how that one goes.
You're right. Don't take this grid to heart because it will all change as our stewards and race director direct everyone to make sure that we do this wonderful, wonderful reverse grid correctly. This is an absolute nightmare to organise. I don't think there's there's no say it.
No, I feel sorry for the RD. I know that the pain and the stress that goes into trying to organise these reverse grid races. So for those of you at home who haven't done one of these before or are just watching for the first time, it's going to look a little bit odd here. Once the timer goes down, we're going to hit 30 seconds. Everyone's going to hit drive, hopefully, to start on the grid, and then we're going to have the RG call out a number, basically one by one. They're all going to line up down towards the first corner, so we will form a nice conga line. Hopefully, everyone keeps it straight and even in a nice orderly fashion. We're going to be sitting there in a queue until we get the order sorted out, and then we'll have our formation lap. And then what you'll see is it'll be a delayed start. So because the game or the car that is starting, or the game thinks starting on pole from that last qualifying position is towards the back, we're gonna be a little bit further along the main straight for the start. But it will still be lights go green, and then I don't know, 4 or 5. What do you reckon? 6 wide?
Yeah, I think we're gonna get a 5 wide. I think that's I'm gonna put that on the bingo list. 5 wide off the start. It's going on. It's official.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be an interesting one, though. Like, we've got... I can't quite see the leaderboard there on the other screen that I've got in front of me, but there's a couple of quick guys who have managed to score themselves Actually, no, telling a lie. This is not the leaderboard for who's starting the race. This is just whatever the game's kind of spat out there. So we'll have to I better not jump the gun here and see. Unfortunately, it's not going to be Damian Mansell and Thurcolini up the front of this race, because if it was, I'm sure they would run away and probably look at getting a win. So I don't remember who was P20, P19 in that last race.
No, we probably should have taken it. Better commentators would have taken a bit more notice of that. But we were too busy talking smack as usual.
Absolute amateurs, the two of us.
Absolute amateurs. Absolutely no idea what we're doing. We're much better at drinking beer than we are talking smack. But hey, look, we're here. We're about to find out anyway. So, you know, the more that we stall, all we have to do is stall for another 20 seconds or so, and then we're going to find out anyway. So we'll go through, we'll call out that order as it all happens, as Liam and I make piss poor excuses for not paying attention to the right things as we both type in chat, message one another, call one another, and just do all manner of stupid things behind the scenes. But hey, that's what it's all about. It's Thursday late nights with OOR. It's 10 p.m. rolling around your Thermaltake Sprint Series. Race 2, 25 minutes with a bloody reverse grid of all things. We've got flags waving in the stands. At least there's flags waving, unlike the marshals at Bathurst. Here, at least the flags wave. We let people know what's going on.
Wow.
Is it too soon? Maybe.
Jeez.
Maybe.
So that's going to be moving on to the race, moving away from that topic. Let's not ignite that fire any more than we need to. I think enough has been said about that. Looks like it's going to be Brickley there in the GTR away from pole position there, followed by, that might be Chalmers or one of the photography-related Porsches, shall we say. Not sure exactly who that one was there. Yes, indeed. So that GTR is going to be a quick start. The Porsche is also going to be a quick start. So there's a couple of guys up here that are going to be very quick off of the line. So yeah, this is going to be one to keep an eye on for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I do love these moments in OOR. You know, some people could take or leave the 25-minute races, the fast approaches, but there's something special about them as we watched. I think that was Callum Rosser just sneak up the through the pack there. Thank goodness for the ghosting of ACC. We've got Mike Rosser coming up there as well in the Need for Speed Beamer. Is that Jer Coman there creeping up too?
Yeah, I think so. I'm sure anyone who's just playing LMU is having an absolute heart attack watching this scene here as cars goes through one another. That's the crazy technology that we have in these games nowadays, is that cars don't actually make contact when there is no need to do that and ruin other people's races.
For sure. We've also got, you know, actually, while we're on that topic, one thing that we saw at the Spa race in LMU tonight, and I'm sure for those that had watched the stream as well, a lot of people would have loved to have been able to return to garage, and a lot of people were not.
Is that not a thing?
You can't in LMU. If you return to garage, you get a DNF. So you have to be able to drive it home. So it's kind of, you know, we've all heard the phrase, you know, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make a drink, right? But LMU takes more of the approach that if you lead your horse to water and it drowns, you can't ride it home.
I was wondering where you're going with that, but yeah, as we see that there is not a straight line. I'm not sure if that's a joke that's supposed to be on the numbers there, or
No, the 5 out of 7. I think he's maybe that's the rating that he's given instead of 6 out of 7. I'm not quite sure,
yeah,
but I did have as one of my secret line items in bingo, Biggie messages in the race control chat. So we're 2 ticks down. I'm happy. I'm a happy boy. We're getting closer to bingo.
Yeah, I need to get that one back up there. I've got my chat and I've got my track map open here. What else have we got in here? So have we had any of these other ones ticked off? I don't think we have.
I don't think we have.
There's a few in here that might have been ticked off there. There is definitely one on there that's probably about to be ticked off in the next 5 minutes or so.
Completely agree.
Second one from the bottom, that one is absolutely being ticked off if anything is if last night is anything to go by. But yeah, not looking great for your bingo yet so far.
Guys, who owns the username Nefis Golf Driver? I don't know who you are, but I want to know. I'm the subject matter expert on riding off cars in LMU. That was definitely true in the practice session tonight, but managed to keep it together. I was an old man boring driving the whole way through Spa, just focused on surviving as I watched every other member of the Pidgey racing team die at some point through Eau Rouge, basically. You know,
Yeah.
we're here. We're back at ACC. This race is going to be fun. We've got Circuit de Barcelona, really good track. It is bloody baking out there. Track's an oven tonight here. 33 degrees on track. We saw just before. This is going to get messy, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got Brickley, I think that's going to be on pole, and then Turab Bank P2. We did see a Red Bull coloured Porsche on its side last night, so hopefully we're not having a repeat of that one. There was actually Turab Bank's son, Ibrahim, that ended up on its side, and immediately RTG in that one as we're going to, come on guys, get this queue back together, close up those gaps. We've got a race start here. We definitely want to close this up. We do not want to see any penalties, therefore, out of position. Some of these drivers not used to being towards the front. I think they're just finding their feet there and maybe getting a little bit of vertigo there as we come across the line. Do you want to call this one?
Yep, let's do it. So we've got Rob Brickley, Turab Bank, first and second on the grid. Some names that we're not used to seeing. Pro-Ams up the front of the race. 25 minutes at Barcelona. We've just gone green. Pete Chalmers were on board with dives to the middle between these two. Holy hell, we're going almost 6 wide in some sections. Everyone looking for a way past, but at the moment we're managing to keep it together. We space out a little bit. Coming into turn 1, Brickley surges away, manages to get that Aston way out in front. But yes, we've got... surely we're going to... Surely safety car. Stewards, please, safety car. We've got to.
Yeah, we are absolutely in a safety car there, and I think that is another one ticked off your bingo.
That is absolutely another one ticked off my bingo list. Reverse grid, lap 1, safety car.
And there it is.
There it is. There it is. I'm quite happy to call. Let's go through this quick. I missed Am on pole. We had a Pro-Am on pole, but you know, maybe we'll call it because we haven't actually got any Pro-Ams there, so I'll tick that one off. We didn't have anyone bowling on the inside grass there of turn 1. So we're going to have to...
on the outside by the looks of things, we're just seeing on our second screen there. That
can
is
we,
going to be a spicy replay.
Can we cheeky tick that one off? It's not grass. I don't know, I'll leave it. We'll see.
It's off the track. It's off the black stuff that you're supposed to be on.
This is true. This is true.
I'm just watching this replay here as we get that one ready to go on the replay machine for you guys. This is going to be... Oh my god, we are 4, 5 wide further back.
There's a lot that's going on.
Here we go. So we are 4 wide, 2 rows deep. Mind you, that is Ryan Anderson towards the outside there. Just gets a little bit of squeeze towards Sam O'Brien.
Oh no, and
sends some spiraling. Steve-O, is that? Oh, there's some big contact there with Mansell, with Van. I can't even speak. So flabbergasted.
While we're on safety
Ryan Anderson, Sam O'Brien. I think that might have been Steve-O involved in there as well, getting some touches and being spun around there.
Yeah, super hard to tell there. I know we saw Sam O'Brien there in the middle kind of get sandwiched just a little bit, but we're going to have to take a really good look into what happened there. I do believe that we had Ryan Anderson surging up backwards almost through the field.
I don't think of anyone else. Was that Mansell that he's tagged as well? I don't think I've seen anyone being taken out backwards like that.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look here.
Back here, the 2 Mercedes and the BMW come together, sends the BMW around, and that is Mansell getting spun into backwards by Ryan Anderson, no less. And that's Breno Ellison. Breno Ellison's involved in that one as we come up to green flag racing. Brickley gets away from Pete Chalmers, from Turab Bank, from Sam, Vianney, Tio, Ankin, Barker, Charitos. Rosser is your top 10 at the moment, and that is a much more clean getaway from the GTR. Further back here, we are only 2 wide now, not 4 wide. It's a little bit calmer, but I shouldn't say anything too early because I know what the commentator curse is like. We are 2 wide. There's a big slide from, I think that's a McLaren there in the black. David Barker gets a touch. He's going to go for a spin. He's not going to collect anyone.
Manager's not to collect anyone. That is a stylish exit stage right. Holy dooly.
Absolutely there. Roy Ankin there with Rosser up behind him in the Ferrari. Just shows the nose towards the inside of turn 5. Not close enough to get a move done there as we are a little bit calmer now. I think everyone's kind of going back towards single file there. Yeah, still a chaotic restart nonetheless, but that race start was absolutely chaos as Pete Chalmers there right up behind Rob Brickley.
Yeah, too right. We've got some messages coming through the chat. Gorilla Snapper, Calamity, couldn't agree more. Gobby, split red, cleanest start. You might be watching a different stream, mate. That's a strike there as well for Ryan Anderson. Surging through, almost looked like he dropped it back into reverse. Full drift expert. Just surged through the arse end of Mansell. Super tough there, but Brickley defending, but not able to keep it on the track. Losing a bit of track position and 2 positions there to Chalmers and Bank. Chalmers currently holding that purple lap. I wonder how long that will last as we've got some pros surging up through the field. But have a go at this. We've got 2 silvers in the top 10. The rest of Pro-Ams and Giacomin sitting there in the 10th spot outside a chance. We've got a lot of work to do, but it'll be interesting to see as we see this massive, massive train now. Pete Viney up there in 4th, surging up. Behind Tura Bank now is 0.48 behind. Tura Bank now with the fastest lap, 146.4. Not a bad little sticker to it as we have 20 minutes, 30 seconds left to go in this race. Who's your one to watch here? Who do you think can hold it, Hamo, up in that top 5 even?
I think we know Pete Chalmers is certainly quick. He's a silver driver, but he has got a lot of pace on him. Viney also pretty quick in there. There's a couple of drivers further back, maybe towards Ankin. Giacomin's had a pretty good start. We know he's pretty quick, so he's probably going to make his way towards the front there, and hopefully we can keep that one clean. But yeah, Charados, there is a few drivers to keep an eye on. Carl Johnson back in 12th position there with 20 minutes to go left in this race, but I suspect we see Tura Banks drop 6/10 behind. He's going to go for another replay on board with, I think it's the Ferrari.
Yeah, this is that slide here, the Milwaukee.
Very well. David Barker just got a bit of a tap and sent into the inside wall, turn 3. Thankfully, everyone managing to avoid that one there.
Whew. Holy cow. Okay, settling back down now. We're on board with Teo. Teo's driving quite cleanly. Aiden Squire's now looking for a way up the field. Is currently sitting in 13th. Doesn't appear to have any damage, which is quite remarkable given that mid-pack episode that we had there. Will Giacomin get to first without any penalties, says Lucas Keys in the chat. Dunno, mate. We're going to have to stay on and watch. We'll see what happens here. But we're on board with Pete Viney. Looking to have a crack up there. Is on the tail there. Looking for any way around Rob Brickley. But Rob, driving pretty cleanly at the moment. Making that Nissan GTR look pretty damn good, managing to Nissan GTR, yeah, Nissan GT3, managing to do a pretty good job there. Great looking tail lights on that. I know that we're going for an overtake here, but if I was Pete, I'd be happy to sit there and just look at the arse end of that car all race. But here we got Pete Chalmers still laying down the law, the only car at the moment with clean air. As we look down through the field, ignoring the top 3, Hamo, we've got, these are the gaps from 4th onwards, 0.3, 0.4, 0.4, 1.2 there for Ankin, but then we've got 0.1, 0.4, 1, and then 0.4, 0.2, 0.1, 0.7. All of these cars really tightly knit in these big chain trains we've got here. On board now with Charados as well, looking for a pretty good move. Robert Brickley.
It is very tight back there as we just let Giacomin get through on, that was Roy Ankin and Charados there. Clean move for them as Robert Brickley is losing more positions there to Viney, and I think that's Sam in the McLaren. Yes, and Teo there behind the Ferrari is, Brickley's just kind of getting mugged left, right, and center there, just getting a little bit out of position, and the train that's forming just means that he is getting past left, right, and center, unfortunately, just being put a little bit out of position. But yeah, we are, like you kind of mentioned there, I was going to touch on that point anyway, so I'm glad you did. It is super close up behind there. Unfortunately, someone who I did expect to be making their way through the field there, Breno Ellis, our #1 Audi, unfortunately back in P21, we did see him getting caught up in that bowling incident, Bottas bowling, I guess, if you will, earlier there into turn 1 there. So unfortunately, he's further back and can be dropping some points to Aiden Squires.
Yeah, too right, and there was a little bit of chatter as I joined this call previously with the wonderful Cam Thistlethwaite and Loopty as well, noting that this second race is worth just as many points as the first. So a lot of these drivers for their championship, this race really, really matters, and they're going to be looking to make some big moves, big sends to try and get those positions back and get as many points as they can out of this second race. We're on board with Teo here. Has Giacomin really, really close behind him now. We're going to look the inside, defending slightly but not veering out too far right. I think Giacomin is going to have enough of a run here. Late on the brakes, very fast operator as we know, diving to the inside, holding that inside curb, little bit of a jostle but manages to keep it relatively clean. Outside curb there for the Ferraris as they go. Teo just having to get a bit of a stick there. He got not such a good one. We're going to watch this race start again. Look at how much activity there is up the back there. Holy dampers. Wait, so yeah, there's Breno getting caught up in it.
Way too much bouncing going on for a late Thursday night.
This is true. Maybe this is where the bouncing starts. Who knows? But we are seeing
there for
Brickley
Giacomin.
here. Giacomin now looking to make some serious moves up through the pack. Can't help but really feel for Brickley here because he's not getting blue flagged, obviously, but you've almost got this blue flag problem where all these fast drivers are surging up and around you, and you just end up losing so much time because you're not defending, you're just trying to survive. But that does see you get kind of pantsed by all these faster drivers.
Yeah, unfortunately, Brickley, they're getting mugged. Giacomo kind of muscling his way past down the inside of turn 5. Not a super long braking zone, as we see. And can go towards the inside of turn 10. Gets... Oh, that was so good touch there. Big dive there. Probably a little bit too far back there to send it onto the Ferrari of Charados. You've also got... Not Charados, sorry, of Tio. Speaking of Charados there, he is right behind the Ferrari, so... yeah, a couple of positions there that are definitely at play. These trains here are still not really moved out sort of towards the back of the top 10. You've got 0.7, you've got 0.3, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.4. So this gap there is kind of a train forming there behind. I want to say that is Tio maybe. You see Roy Ankin right up behind the Ferrari there of Tio this time. McLaren not the fastest in the straight line. The Ferrari might have a bit more speed as Bruno fastest lap back there. He's going to get towards the inside of turn 1. He's actually going to back out of there.
Backs out.
Charados the position. I'm surprised to see that one there.
Is that okay? So yeah, really interesting to note here as we were just on board really briefly with Mr. Squires there. How much later on the brakes he is than those cars around him. The pace difference here. Watch how much later he'll brake here than his cars around him. We've got Rosser almost a little bit of contact there, but manages to keep it clean. The difference in driving style here will be absolutely so easy to notice.
Yeah, that's if anything's going to cause incidents in these sorts of races, that's what it's going to be. And it's not even going to be them trying to make a dive bomb. It's just going to be the pro drivers sort of taking their normal braking mark and just being caught out as we see a move there towards the inside. Roy Ankin up the inside there of Charados, I believe that is in the Porsche. Did not get that one done. That's going to invite the BMW there of Rosser behind. And Squires is right up behind there as well. That Mustang's going to be quick in a straight line. But yes, there's going to be... These guys are just looking as he's going to see...
Here he goes up the inside, but he's met with Roy Ankin.
Ankin, also a big send towards the inside. We're going to go side by side, 2 by 2. It's Noah's Ark back there through turn 10, turn 11, turn 12. 2 by 2 there, keeping it clean for now. That is going to be Aiden Squires around the outside of turn 12, if you don't mind. Is he going to hold it there? He is going to hold it around the outside. That is a difficult move to pull off. Very well done there by Aiden.
Yeah, very stylish. And again, that's the thing. That's the raw pace as we see more cars 2 by 2 behind him. A lot of curb there for the Mustang and the Beamer of Squires and Rosser. Giacomo now surging up. 44 flat is the fastest time of the race so far. Purple, has he gone? He has got a 15-second penalty though. So he's to do it with pace, real pace, as we see Charados here in the Porsche looking for a way around, not going to find it. That is the car of Squires just in front of him as well as we wait for the timing tower to catch up. But Charados going to have to take his medicine a little bit there, just focus on driving the racing so that he doesn't lose out too much time and stays with that pack.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to Giacomo to get that 15-second penalty, but yeah, we are in 3rd place now, so the pro driver up onto the podium. I'm not sure exactly where he started, but it definitely was further towards the back. Was almost going to go 3 wide into turn 5, if you don't mind. That is Thurcolini on the outside of Jack Miller there. Thurcolini getting out to the grade, no grip out there, and Bruno Ellis. Bruno Ellis is also going to get past as Thurcolini's going to fight that one back. We'll get very close to a touch. There's just about enough room left there. We're still going to fight here side by side down into turn 7. This is an awkward corner, really tricky to go side by side through there. Very respectful driving by these two. Thurcolini up on that curve. That curve is not friendly at the best of times, and that is Bruno Ellis there up into P... I don't know because the leaderboard is lying. P16 there for Bruno in the Audi. I think he's definitely wanting to be a lot higher up there as Aiden Squires getting past the McLaren of Roy Ankin, assuming he doesn't go too deep. Speaking of going too deep, Charados was well out into the weeds there. Oh, he's going to try and sort of hold it around the outside again, just like Aiden did to the other car there back on the previous lap, but nowhere there against the pace of Aiden, and that puts Aiden up into P8.
Yeah, too right. You'll notice there's a significant lack of Mustang in this second race. Rob Underwood just coming in the chat to let us know that he fared not so well out of that first little incident. But we are going to see a bit of a move here. Giacomo coming up the inside of the Porsche. This is one of the... I can't remember who's in that one, but manages to dive to the inside. Pretty clean, pretty damn good overtake there from Giacomo as he manages to surge away. But let's see what happens here. A little bit squirrely, but manages to make it stick. Great move by Giacomo as he pushes up through the field, now sitting in 3rd. As we're back on board with Brickley, has dropped to 6th, but seems to be holding it at bay. Tio, pretty quick operator, came late into pretty much, let's say 2/3 of the way through the year last year, is now up here with the best of them, going side by side with Brickley, looking to get up the inside there, does so, but will be on the outside for this next corner, has gotten past the overlap. Great move there, move to the inside. Really well done from Teo. And Brickley just continuing to actually just get pantsed by these faster boys around him.
Yeah, unfortunately so. He's now got the Mustang of Aiden Squires there right up behind him, who is no slow operator himself. So he's going to be looking to maximize this one here. So come up through turn 9, bit of aero wash. Oh, a lot of braking there. So that's, again, something's going to catch out these pro drivers, is you're just not expecting the cars ahead of you to sort of brake, lift, or do whatever it is that they're doing in these corners. So he's going to be even careful he doesn't run up the back of Brickley. Has a little bit of a look. Shows the nose, there's no way past, there is a way past there. I'm not sure if he had a little bit of assist there on the way into the apex of that corner, but that is another position up for Aiden. But yeah, point that I was trying to make before I got interrupted by Cars Racing, how dare they, was that, yeah, as a pro driver, you got to be careful and just watch that the cars ahead of you don't brake really early or do something that you're not quite expecting that you would be doing yourself, and that is how some of these incidents do happen in these races, these reverse grid races. We see Luca G coming into 43s now, as a 43.8.
Yeah, looking now to catch up and make up time on Tura Bank, who sits 1.168 ahead of him. But we're on board now with Charados and Brickley going to battle here. Brickley just kind of opening the door there, choosing, again, that's the sloth thing that I continue to quote, choosing life perhaps over anything else. But now losing multiple positions here, such a difficult position to play in, is running wide. someone by Brickley and Atlas.
Brickley's getting hung out to dry there, and he's now in a big train. He's getting more cars. He's still on the outside. There is absolutely no way for him to get back in this train. He's just lost, I think, another 4 positions or something there as he finally gets back on the line. We feel sorry for Rob. He's going to get past the get around the outside there for that. Where am I looking on the leaderboard? There we are. That is the Porsche. They're out of position a little bit there, the leaderboard. There we go. Carl Johnson there around the outside of T5. And, oh my God, Rob is still losing positions. I think he... Oh, man. Oh, Bruno's going to stick it up the inside as well, up towards turn 9 there. It's going to be another position loss for Rob. What's that, like 6 or 7 positions in one lap? He has been absolutely swallowed by these drivers.
Yep, and we do have, I'm not going to take many calls tonight, but we do have one that has come through from Senor Dink Donk, a.k.a. Chris Cooley himself. Good evening, Chris. How are we tonight?
Good day, gentlemen. I had a pie for dinner. It was very spicy, but not as spicy as the race. There's been some calamities, I've noticed.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a wishy-washy race start, but it seems to be smoothing out now as we've got the faster drivers surging up through. Tell us, what would your strategy have been if you were in this second race? Because we know you wouldn't have been at the front of the grid, courtesy of that reverse grid. So how would you have navigated this kind of thing?
I would have just tried to survive based on race 2. So maybe started in the pits. To be honest, on what I've seen, it doesn't even look like that would have helped. They would have still ended up upside down and doing a 360.
Yeah, finding one of those squid holes, perhaps.
Yeah, but it's been great to watch.
Well done. Well, thank you, mate. We do miss seeing your name out on track, but we enjoyed seeing you last week at Bathurst. Thank you so much for calling into OOR Late Nights. You got any final thoughts to leave us with this evening?
Just send it. You don't pay the bill. Who cares? Just absolutely just.
Slap up the inside and go full send, says Dink Donk. We love to see it. Well, Gia Coleman will be looking to do just that as he's got 1.3 seconds. The gap now to Pete Chalmers with a 15-second penalty. So he's going to have to go full send. Chris Cooley, we will leave you to your night as we are getting 6-7 in the chat 4,500 times. Thank you so much for calling in. We miss you on track.
And a 6-7 to you, sir.
6-7 right back. We miss you. Bye-bye.
I think I might have said the magic numbers there at one of those points, and by me just being corrected on my mistake. There's Roy Ankin getting a little bit racy there with Charados. Charados on the inside of turn 12. He's going to have the inside here for the next chicane. This corner is off camber, hard to go side by side through. Is there room given? They're going to be really slow if they are. That is going to be towards the inside where they're still side by side into the final chicane.
Look at how many cars are too wide.
Oh, there's a big trade. Oh, that's a touch there in the BMW. I think that was, Warren giving Rosser a bit of a touch there out of the final corner. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars in this trade.
Heaps.
This is absolutely wild. That is CMM, the Ferrari, getting a run. Sorry, no, Carl Johnson getting a run on CMM. Roy Ankin getting a run on Charados.
Oh, Roy Ankin up the inside here, looking for... into the turn 1. Jack Miller said, get out of the way, I'll slide in.
Oh, no, that's a Porsche round. Oh, he saves it. I think that was Carl Johnson there with a big save. Very well done to catch that one. And look,
19 minutes into the race.
Look who's starting to make his way back through the field there. Breno Ellis up into 15th. So he is still clawing his way back, but unfortunately he's probably not going to make... Oh, he might make the top 10, but I don't think he's going to be able to make the podium like he would have hoped.
Yeah, too right. And Giacomo's 15-second penalty does put him actually maybe kicking around 9th or 10th position at the moment. Probably even more by the time that we actually sit there and add up the numbers instead of my lazy 1, 2, 3, whatever, somewhere around there. But we are on board with a Porsche. This is the move that we saw Jack Miller sliding into the position in front. I think this is Kurt Johnson. Just manages to get worse off there in his avoidance there. The best he could have possibly done of Jack Miller as he slid into that position. Possibly listening to us commentate and hearing Dink Donk say, go full send.
Yeah, absolutely sliding into those DMs there in front of the Porsche, and that's a very good save. Oh, we just see a touch there with that's Giacomo and Chalmers. Giacomo getting right to the back of Chalmers there through that final chicane. And see if the stewards are happy with that one, but it looks like it's play on for now. No positions changed, and that is Giacomo going to be in the slipstream of Chalmers. Moving further back, we've still got this 7-car trade. Oh, Breno is really close there. Just thankfully backs out of that one. No contact made. Yeah, he is kind of desperate to get some moves in here, and to be honest, I do not blame him. I think if I was in his position, I'd probably be trying to do the same thing as Dink Donk kind of alluded to, lick the stamp and absolutely send it on these cars.
Yeah, what do you do here in the first position here? So who's in the first? Is it Pete Chalmers? Pete Chalmers is still up there.
So.
Yeah, so what do you do in this position as we see Breno Ellis going up the inside there of Jack Miller looking for a way around, but Jackie Millsy pretty much holding onto it at the moment, but Breno's going to have a bit of an inside line leading into these subsequent turns. Going side by side is the Audi and the Macca. This is a very, very tight section of track when you're trying to go multiple cars wide. This turn, if you're not on the rubbered in line, we see the Macca sliding out there. No good, but what do you do here when you're in first position as we watch Jackie Miller go mowing there?
Oh,
Briefly,
no.
Roy Ankin's been spun.
Warren's Ankin.
Warren spun him. Oh, no.
That's Breno.
Everyone's...
That is deja vu from last night there. A big incident into turn 5. A car's getting piled into. I think that is Breno's run right into, basically square straight into the front of Roy Ankin.
Oh no, Giacomo. This is what we were talking about with these faster drivers coming up behind the slightly slower silver class. What do you? I feel like Pete Chalmers here. You can see that Giacomo's got a 15-second penalty. I would be getting out of the way and letting him go. Stuff the first on track position. You're going to get first after the race anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really like Chalmers done anything wrong. I don't expect him to pull over and let him through. He was just holding his line, and Giacomo kind of misjudged where he was braking and unfortunately just steamed into the back of him there. I don't think we saw earlier in the race what Giacomo got that 15-second penalty for, unless it was a bit of a dive move that we saw in that replay. So we'll see how the stewards look towards that one. So we're going to see a replay of the move into turn 5. Just a big slide there, and Breno nowhere left to go. Smack bang into the front of that McLaren, giving him a nice big smooch that I'm sure he did not want.
Audi-shaped punching bag, says Rushy in the chat. Yep, absolutely. That's super tough. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. It was the Beamer that just caused that spin around there. And we've also seen Charitos with the drive-through. I'm going to assume pretty openly that's for track limits, which you can rack up pretty quickly here if you are pushing the limit. But we've got Giacomo still sitting behind the defensive Pete Chalmers. Pete Chalmers says, I know that you got a 15-second penalty, but this track position, this big number 1 next to my name is more important than you getting around me. 2 minutes, 27 seconds he's got to hold on. Seeing a replay here. This looks like the Mustang of Squires. Aiden looking for a way around here. Goes around the outside there. Inside move here from the Ferrari of Teo. Just possibly dropping off.
Lots of room left. Oh, Giacomo's got through. That must have been him. I did see him look towards the inside of turn 7. As Giacomo through into the lead, finally getting around Pete Chalmers. At that point there, if you see Giacomo looking for a move into those corners, it's probably better just to play it safe. Only a couple minutes left in this race. There's absolutely no way in this world he's going to pull out 15 seconds, no matter what happens. I don't even think Chris Cooley could pull out 15 seconds in this one. So, yeah, I think he'll be well and truly safe for that win. I understand it, though. Chalmers trying to get P1 on the road, trying to do it properly, but yeah, better to just play it safe. And as you like to say, I won't emulate the accent or whatever you want to call that, but choosing life.
Shed the sloth, I choose life.
That's the one.
Yeah, that's the one. Spent way too long mimicking Sid the Sloth. It's a deep and personal story. Moving on, though, Pete Chalmers sitting here holding... it's a technical P1 on a technicality, but Giacomo surging past the fastest on track this evening in your second race. going through your top 10, we've got Giacomin, but has now 25 seconds worth of penalties, which will drop him well outside the top 15, it looks at the moment, with how tightly packed this field is.
Yeah, it's almost a second per position, so if not closer than that, so he's going to be at least... Yeah, he's going to be probably struggle to stay in the top 20, I think, with that much worth of penalties. So he has got to the front, but at what cost? Unfortunately, he's just not going to retain the positions there. And I think like the wise words of Ding Dong kind of said, you really need to keep it clean and keep your nose clean. Even if you just happen to lose a position, you don't quite make up one. You just it's not worth it in a way. So we see Turat Bank right up the back of Pete Chalmers. There's a battle now for the race win at this point there with those penalties from Luca Giacomin. This one is not going to go quite so easily. Right up behind there into turn 9, Turab Bank not going to get away through there as they both get through cleanly off of the exit. Porsche moves towards the inside, shows the nose. I don't think it's going to be close enough. That would be a really big send. I'm not sure. This might be the last lap, you know. They may not get another one here just looking at the race timer.
It's going to be really close. Actually, no, definitely. This is going to be the end of the race. This is it. So we've got Porsche on Porsche action coming through. One chicane to go. That's pretty much it. No, hang on. Yes. No. Yes. Almost. One chicane in the turn. We're going to see it here. Big moves from Turo Bank, but can't get him under brakes. All Pete Chalmers needs to do is hold on for this long right-hander. Seems to have done it, but Turo Bank getting a really good run out of the chicane. Runs as wide as he possibly can. That's going to be track limits. But Pete Chalmers gonna get it done. Silver Class wins the 25-minute second race reverse grid. Pete Chalmers, outstanding effort and a heap of adversity that you faced there. Really, really outstanding job. So impressed.
Wow, absolutely amazing work from some of these drivers. I can breathe now. We can relax that this race is nearly over. There's Damiano Thurcolini there just losing position to Brickley at the end. That one, yeah. Roy Ankin down in 16th. I'm not sure what happened there. Whether
he was the Macca that got spun around.
He was before. Yeah. So much has happened in this race. I don't remember what's happened. There's a bit of a close fight there towards the end of the line there with Mansell and Justman. As we see Pete Chalmers celebrating that one, and he's definitely worked hard for that one, and it absolutely deserves it.
Yeah, absolutely. We do love to see a silver class driver at the very top of the list, but nonetheless, not to take away from the brilliant driving there of Tura Bank. Pulling in a second place for a Pro-Am driver. Incredible stuff here at Barcelona in the second race. I think we've there's a couple of really good contentious overtakes there that could be in the running for the Thermaltake overtake of the week, or the thermal overtake of the week for next week. Mate, I feel like it was pretty good. There's a lot of incidents there, but I feel like there was a couple of big ones, and the rest was, we can kind of let it pass.
Yeah, once we went like 10 GT3 car bowling and sort of got that out of our system, I think the rest of it was pretty good. I don't think the stewards had quite as much work to do tonight as they did last night, thankfully, although I'm still sure they'll want a stiff drink after that one. But we'll get some results up here for you in a second, but we know we had Pete Chalmers taking out the win, followed very closely by Turab Bank, just unfortunately not being able to get a way through. Really tough to follow and to pass on this track, so yeah, very well done by Pete Chalmers to hold that one out, as we're going to get the results up here for you in a second. So this was the qualifying from before as we get there, the first race. So that is Aidan Squires, Breno Ellis, Zach Warren, Jack Miller, Rob Underwood taking out your top 5 overall. As we move on to silver class, that is going to be Jack Miller, Rob Underwood, and Mateen there taking out your silver podium. Pro-Am, CMM, Rosser, and Charados there for Pro-Am. And rounding out our Am class there is Justman in the Ford Mustang.
Yeah, really good race there from everyone. And particularly, again, just want to call out the efforts there of Pete Chalmers, Tura Bank, and Sam as well, Francis Sam. Great work, mate. What a race. What 2 races. This is good, 2 for the price of 1 on your late night Thursdays.
Absolutely. So just looking at this one here, we've got Giacomin with the purple lap, but that 25-second penalty dropping him down to P13. So he has lost out massively there, just unfortunately not being able to make it to the front as clean as he would have hoped. And losing out there quite a few positions. But yeah, there's definitely a bit of a mix-up there with some silvers and quite a few Pro-Ams towards the front there. The first pro driver being Aidan Squires up in P6. So that's a pretty good comeback drive for him. I'm not sure exactly where he started, but yeah, it's definitely... Oh, no, I am sure where he started. He would have started in P20. So yeah, good run for him making up those 14 positions. As we move on to, we'll get the rest of this one done. Moving on to silver class there in your reverse grid race. That is Pete Chalmers taking out the overall victory and P1 in silver class, Tio second, and Mike Rosser in third. Pro-Am, we have Turab Bank, who is your overall second place, Sam, and then Viney. And of course, our AM class is going to be Adjustment there in the Ford Mustang.
Yeah, which we still think, I think we need to sort out that class because Adjustment's doing pretty well these days. But incredible work, Liam. Thank you so much, as always. I mean, I missed looking you in the eye this stellar commentary job. Massive. Yeah, not quite the same. Massive shout out to the stewards tonight who, copped it just a little bit more than they would otherwise. But really well done to those boys. Incredible work to Biggie Higgy, Benjamin Hignett on the cams tonight. Our shining light and our gold star performer as we keep track of all of the Thermaltake Racing here for your late night Thursday session. I've been Matt Madden. With me in the commentary box, as mentioned and as dearly loved, has been Liam Hamilton. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week.